Hello everybody and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Leinster versus Schalk this weekend. It is the third quarterfinal of the URC. It'll take place just after the Bulls versus the Stormers game, and so we will wait and see which South African team could be joined by the Sharks if they were to go and pull off what I'm branding Mission Impossible to go over and beat Leinster in Ireland. But I'll tell you what, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So the Sharks will have to beat the best if they are to try and progress this weekend. Now, the more important thing is how can you watch all the action? Right now, there's a very, very simple way, and that is if you are in the UK or Ireland, you can watch the entire thing on a free-to-air broadcaster because it is being shown on RTE2. If you're outside the UK or Ireland, though, you can still watch the action all live, and that is through the use of a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, link down in the description, and we've got a step-by-step guide on how to watch all the action. So, yeah, first things first, you want to get yourself ExpressVPN, and go and download and install it. This is what it looks like. I recommend getting a 12-month subscription because you get an extra 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free, as well as watching certain Rugby Championship games, as well as lots of different sport as well, which we'll do videos on every single week. So make sure you go and download it, and you can connect to either an Ireland or a UK server. Both should work. And because I'm connected over there, I'm currently watching RTE2. Now, my screen capture won't show the actual action, but I can unmute and you can hear there's currently an advert going on. But so you can probably hear, as you can see, it's playing there. As soon as I press pause, it'll stop and stuff. So you can't see the action because it won't capture the sound, the video, but you can hear from the sound that it is currently working. Now, you can use this method as well to watch Glasgow versus Munster. You can also watch Bulls versus Stormers, as well as Ulster versus Connacht on a free-to-air broadcast. Those ones are being shown on TG4. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Apart from that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rugby Fan Forum after our week sabbatical because Stephen went away and basically lived in the Stone Ages where the upload speed that we had on our Wi-Fi was 0.2 megabytes per second, guys. That's how much of in the sticks I was a week ago. So Fan Forum is unfortunately never going to happen, and that is also why, as you guys probably guessed, there were no watchalong stuff like that. But I'm back in the land of the land of the infrastructure for another. What have you got here? Reason about 50, about an hour. Then our power goes off for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, correctly so.
But I'm joined by Reza and Chris. Chat's very well.
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, can't complain. It was a very peaceful week, mainly due to the fact that Steve is in the bush, well, under the bush and on the coast with no Wi-Fi. But good to be back. Let's talk some rugby.
Yeah, fair enough. Much tired, to be honest. Like it just can the entire whole digital media thing. Go back to I'll go produce a daily paper. Go back to my roots and get typewriter out. Because that's kind of where they are down there. But anyway, let's soldier on. We've got a lot to talk about. We have got a European Champions Cup final that has been confirmed. We saw Leinster and La Rochelle demonstrate why they are probably the two best sides in Europe right now. And it's quite cool actually, because I think often we get to like a European final and you sometimes think, are these two the best teams though? Has a team just gone on a bit of a run? Has a team gotten lucky here and there? Whereas I think you watch those semi-finals, you look at these two teams, you look at the last couple of years, and you think these probably are the two best teams, which is very cool. You're talking a little bit about the Currie Cup, which is going to be get quite interesting over the next couple of weeks. And the big thing we're talking about is the URC quarterfinals, which begin tomorrow night actually, and just over 24 hours when Andreas Mill will be running out with Ulster trying to take on Connacht. Then we've got the Stormers versus Bulls on Saturday. We've got Leinster versus Sharks, RIP Sharks, and then we've got Munster versus Glasgow to wrap up the weekend. So, without any further ado, chaps, should we just talk a little bit about last weekend? And I think Chris, you probably watched it more than maybe we did. I was struggling a bit down there trying to watch it, so I've watched catch up. But Leinster demolishing Toulouse, La Rochelle, then doing a similar job to Exeter. Are these two the best teams in Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. I did manage to catch both those games. Really, really good games. Yeah, absolutely. They are by far the two best teams in the competition. I think there was a lot of talk of Toulouse giving Leinster a bit of a game, running them much closer. I heard some whisperings that they might even win, but I didn't think so. In the tip and show last week, I had Leinster -8 on the handicap, quite strong. I just think Leinster just got too much motivation this year, and the momentum and the form of the Irish is just too strong. And then you look at Toulouse, they got the players, but as I was worrying about, they're not nearly as physical as like La Rochelle are, and their discipline is not good. And Leinster just ate them, took them to the cleaners, and then the ref got onto their side. So they ran away with it quite easily. And then that La Rochelle power, I think Exeter were always going to run out of juice. They've had they've had a few big games leading up to that. And La Rochelle at home in Europe is just like insane. Like a lot of those French sides at home are there's that atmosphere, and they just get themselves up. But there you are, they blew Exeter off the park. So yeah, in the repeats of last year's final, yeah, I don't we're going to preview the game, but I'm going to stick my neck out. If La Rochelle do what they do best, it's going to be a repeat of last year's result probably.
That's
But
a
I think
big
it's going to be
shot.
a humdinger.
That's a big shot. That's what we're here for.
No, that's an honest, genuine. I think if La Rochelle do what they do best and on the day do it right, then still going to have a big game on their hand. And I don't know if they will be able to actually live with La Rochelle. Not many teams can when they're like at that, when they're playing like that. But it's same for Leinster. But I think La Rochelle are just a little bit more physical, more clinical in the physical exchanges. But look, maybe Leinster have learned, and maybe they get their revenge.
Chris, is that your heart or your money talking there?
Yeah, yeah. But in 2 weeks' time, you're gonna have to put his money where his mouth is.
Well, we will see. That's exactly it. This is just a sneak preview, but we still got some build up to look into. So I'll obviously put the money down when next week's show for sure. Next before the final.
That sounds like an easy out to me, but you heard it, Shane. Tune in next week.
My first call is La Rochelle by 2. Another humdinger.
Wow. So if I were to go, so if you put money on right now, you put in the La Rochelle win, eh?
Yeah. The thing is, it's in Dublin, right?
Yeah, it's in the Viva Stadium. So that does for me. That's why I think that
that would probably be the swinger, because I mean La Rochelle in the previous final as well, right? No, that was Exeter and Raston, I think it was, and then they played Toulouse and La Rochelle. They lost, but La Rochelle lost because they played Botika when you're still a centre, but he hadn't played in 2 months. They should have actually beaten Toulouse in that final as well. So, it's the final we want in Dublin. It's perfect. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, look, I mean, La Rochelle have just been getting progressively better and better. I mean, this is their third final in a row. For Leinster, it's their second final.
Yeah, I think I've missed. Yeah, I got wrong with finals, but yeah.
Yeah,
that's right, Steve.
Yeah, they lost to Toulouse in 3-1. They beat Leinster last year. Now, can they do the double over Leinster this year? Last year was in Marseille. Year before that was in Twickenham, so neutral ground. And this year it will be in Dublin. Now, on that point, I want to talk a bit about this, because next year the game is at the two finals, the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup, are at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, how's that for a choice of venue?
Yeah. I don't really get that at all. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think if you're trying to promote rugby, why the hell would you go over to that stadium? There's so many classy stadiums, especially in Europe, that deserve a lot of attention, and rugby stadiums. And I just don't really get it. I know it's brand new and it's been recently revamped, and it's really, really nice, and obviously it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think more to the point.
Yeah, but it's a football stadium, man.
Look, hey, they have NFL there. You can the whole thing. Look, it looks like it looks like a phenomenal stadium. I reckon it's on my bucket list to go check, because it just looks like one of those modern stadiums. It's just absolutely incredible. But
that's the case. But I think Twickenham's the home of rugby. I mean, that's if you're going to play it in England, that's where you got to play it.
Well, see, the problem is, this is the problem. Of the last 6 finals, 4 of them have been in England.
Yeah,
and that's where the problem is. You've had Stadium Park, Newcastle, Ashton Gate, Bristol, Twickenham in London, and now Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Do you have any insight as to how they go about selecting venues?
No.
I would have thought that as obviously a multi-country tournament, that very simple thing to do would be like, well, we're going to rotate it amongst each country each
It's
time.
not hard.
This is not complicated, you know. And what to me, what that says is that England have a bigger stake in this competition, or let's say influence, than perhaps we realize on the outside, and that's what it says to me.
Look, traditionally,
yeah,
because traditionally, I mean, if we go back and look at the early 2000s, for example, if we look at, say, from 2000, it went London, Paris, Cardiff, Dublin, London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, London, Cardiff, Edinburgh, St. Neots, Cardiff. So you could see it. I mean, there was no back-to-back hostings. There was generally 2 or 3 finals in between going back to the countries. But since 2015, it's gone England, France, Scotland, Spain at one in Bilbao. Then England, Marseille in France, Dublin, and then back to England. So I mean, you must be sitting there as a Scottish. Yeah.
Wasn't there was one in Edinburgh, wasn't there? Because I was at it. Saracens versus Clermont.
Yeah, was it 2017?
I'm sure I was at that game.
Yeah.
Chris,
what were you
I was in Edinburgh. I'm pretty sure I was in Edinburgh.
Chris sitting there in the middle of Bilbao going, yes, the Scottish accent's changed a lot, eh? These guys were so tan.
Yeah, I was there. It was a good game.
Do you remember what was the result?
It was Saracens won quite nicely in there, but it was nice atmosphere, you know.
I want detail. I want scoreline. I want try scorers. Come on.
Oh, you got me. No.
Let me ask you a better question. How much money did you win that day?
No, it wasn't actually. I actually can't remember. I can't remember a lot about it, honestly. I do know it was. I think pretty well. I do know there was a few of the Sappers still there. Schalk Burger, I think it was one of his last games, or he was playing. Michael Rhodes was playing. But what was the score? Let's see if I can remember. I don't know, 24-16.
That's not bad. It was 28 points to 17. And to be fair, do you think Michael Rhodes was playing? Vincent Koch was playing?
He was playing, because I'm sure he scored a try, Michael Rhodes.
Vincent Koch was playing. Schalk Burger came off the bench, as did Schalk Brits, as did Petrus Duplessis.
Yeah. So not too bad. Ringing through the beers there.
I was about to say that was
a really good day out.
It sounds like it. And you can't even. And can you remember the referee? Come on, it's an easy one.
Wayne Barnes.
Nigel Owens. Come on, man.
Nigel Owens. Well.
Good on that.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. So that was last weekend, which means that you're gonna lock on the 20th of May for the final, which is going to be a lot of fun. Just very quickly looking at some Currie Cup results before what I want to get really into is this weekend, because it's going to be a lot of fun. The Currie Cup results from last weekend were pretty cool because the Lions beat the Pumas. What we do, we go and beat the top of the log teams. At the end of the day, the Lions are our favourites for the Currie Cup, and I will not be hearing anything different. The Cheetahs beat the Griffins 33 points to 10. Sharks beat Griquas 24 points to 6. Western Province hammering the Bulls 31 points to 7. And might I add, not a bad Bull side either.
Mm-hmm. Go on. Who was there?
What, you played for Bulls?
Yeah.
Well, there was Orange.
Yeah, let me pull up the team. I don't think Moody played, but where's my team over here?
So is this still under the Jake White tenure?
Under the Jake White tenure, it was Kirsten Cup, Jan Hendrik Vespels, Francois Klopper, Charlie Jules, Janko Swanepoel, Marco Fitzstone, Reinhard Ludwig, WJ Steenkamp, Keegan Johannes, Goosen, David Creel, Cornel Hendrik, Stefan Kant, Wanda the Similani, Kurt Lawrence off the bench. Wow. There was Johan Kobala there,
and they got hammered.
Yeah, no, they got.
And yes, I lost a lot of money on that game. Because all the punters saw the team sheets, and they were like, this, the form that Province was showing, there was no, Bulls were going to come to win. I mean, on paper, they had to win, and they actually were nowhere. Province actually manhandled them off the park.
Clearly, Chris, you haven't been listening to the show back, because every time
I know. And the thing is also, exactly. And in this previous show I did last week as well, I said I'm not betting on that game because I always think Province are better than they are, and I didn't know what the team sheets were as well back then. But I said, nah, I'm gonna leave it. I haven't bet on Province all season. What did I go do? I bet a Bulls +8 and they lose by like 30. That's a joke.
Well, on that note, that's kind of leading me into the next thing, because that's the poll, by the way, everybody. If you're watching, we have put on a poll out, and the question is, can the Bulls beat the Stormers? Just a couple of comments before we go into that. is Yanni Brad saying, cannot wait for the game. Saturday we'll be there. Matthew Dixon saying his money's on the Bulls and the Sharks. I appreciate the loyalty, but definitely putting money on the Sharks. PK Moss saying the Stormers have too much class to be upset by the Bulls. Johnny saying good rep this time, not much on the business, so it would be Bulls. Angela saying Saracens played there for a league game, and the pundit said the facilities and atmosphere was really good. Yeah, I did see that actually, and they packed it out in terms of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So it is a very cool stadium. But just like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they've played a few games. Harlequins have played 2 games there recently against Saracens and Exeter, I think it was. I can't remember, or Irish. Yeah, I mean it's a brilliant stadium, best in the world, but yeah, it's not a rugby stadium.
Yeah, I
like the traditional rugby stadiums.
Yeah, it would be like going to like Soccer City as opposed to Ayers Park.
Well, either way, you're not leaving with a phone. So
wow.
I
will go to Soccer City every day of the week before I have to go to Ayers Park. There's parking. It's a nice drive in there. I'll take Soccer City.
Well, talking about Soweto, it's the scene of the crime where the Bulls beat the Stormers in our only Super Rugby final that the Stormers made. So
Bulls are just moving to Orlando Stadium.
Horror memories there.
Right. So speaking of, this weekend we've now got obviously the Bulls versus Stormers. Now, I mean, I think I don't actually know if Jake White has actually beaten John Dobson. I mean, if you look at the record between the two, it's mental. John Dobson's had his numbers since Jake White's come back. I think it's only like once or twice he's actually been beaten by him. So the Bulls have been playing better by last weekend against a Leinster youngster side and a Zebra side. So it's difficult to gauge if they've been better or if they're just playing against really bad opposition. Stormers have not been playing particularly well in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So, have the stars aligned? Can the Bulls do it? Reza, are you giving them a stiff of a chance?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, very much so. I'm not a believer in Jake White. I am a believer in South African derbies and their ability to give you everything that you want to see in a rugby game. And I can guarantee you that no matter where they were on the log, when this game came around towards the end of the season, they were both going to show up and they were both going to put in a performance. And if it is a steamrolling, I can guarantee you the Bulls will not be going out meekly. They're going to be throwing it around left, right, and center, both sides. I'm pretty sure about it. It might just turn into a bit scrappy, but I think they're both going to go hell for leather and just really enjoy it. It's going to be such a good game to watch. And when those kind of games come along, and especially between 2 South African sides, I personally wouldn't put a dime down on a game like that, just because I think it's so unpredictable. We love nothing more than to stuff each other up. The only people we love to stuff up more than each other are the English, and they're not involved. So yeah, I think there's definitely a shot. I still back the Stormers to pull it off, but it's going to be a cracker.
And Chris, are you going more one-sided, or also think it'll be close?
No, I'm totally in alignment there with Reza. Absolutely agree. I think Bulls will arrive. I think, like you said, if Stormers had been playing better leading up into this game, I would be far more comfortable that it would be a comfortable Stormers victory. But I think the Bulls, I'm not really, like I said, I'm not reading too much into those 2 games at Loftus. I think that was almost had to be expected that they at Loftus put those teams away. So yeah, could have built the 2 things could have happened, right? Built their confidence, which I think they do have. I think they have built a bit of confidence out of it, or they're going to run into completely different opposition, and then they're not going to actually be up to the speed that they probably should be. But I'm not anticipating that. I think Bulls have got revenge on their mind, and when Bulls and Province play each other and there's revenge on their mind, it's like I said, it's gonna be a physical, brutal affair. And I think
Springboks don't like losing against each other too many times in a row. They're going to come out there trying to murder each other.
So I think Bulls want to come put the record straight after last year's final, and they're probably going to come in with like a Leinster semi-final attitude. And I think Stormers, this is the chance for the Bulls to take the Stormers, because the Stormers aren't on form. But look, if they come as Stormers arrive, they win by 3. I agree with Reza. It'll be a close game within 5. But Bulls are in this game, and I would not be surprised if they sneak it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all know this is the game in SA Rugby. It always has been the game, that North South derby. I think it's interesting because I think that you know, it's amazing how playoff rugby also does strange things to strange teams. I mean, last year, as I said, the Bulls were not given a chance against Leicester. They should never have won over there, and they did. And we spoke about the fact, and that's why we kind of gave them a bit of a chance during that Champions Cup quarterfinal, because we just said, if there's one thing Jake White can do, and often even the Bulls side as well, they do know how to win things. They do know how to if they can get themselves into position of playoff stuff like that. They don't often lose finals. They don't often lose playoff games. So.
But the thing is, the Stormers, at home, that's going to be, they are good at home. If they got their defense back to where it's been for the last 18 months, they're so difficult to beat. I'll still say that they are difficult to beat. They've probably got a bit more class around the park in certain positions. I think if Dion Foury's still out, I mean, he's been a massive loss. I think if he's still out, that brings them, you could see he's worth some players to teams like Mwanga's to Crusaders, Foury to the Stormers. They're worth like 7 points at least to a team. So I think that's one of the big levelers for me as well. But I think just in the last couple of years, the Stormers have had their number on the Bulls. I think, this is the thing. We know these teams know exactly the strengths and weaknesses of each, and that's the thing. But I think the Stormers obviously have had the better of the Bulls. But I just think form and motivation levels is where the equalizer is going to be. Stormers a little bit of a dip, Bulls a little bit up. Bulls maybe wanted more. But yeah, we'll see. I can't wait for it.
I wanted to just touch on something a little different. Is that something that I noticed in the games that I have watched is that now that we've seen 2 years of this compared to Super Rugby, is there's not been as much in the way of argy-bargy, and especially as a use of, as a disruptive tactic. So back in our Super Rugby days, there was a lot of that, and not all of it was just unprompted. A lot of it was stage stuff, things that were planned. Like you're going to have a couple of enforcers, and you're going to be in the face of the other guy, and you're going to make sure that you trigger them as much as possible, because if you don't, they've just a better side. And so that was quite a tactic that was used. In this URC, I don't see a lot of that, and I think that between two South African sides, we'll see which one puts it up. I think with Jake White's more likely to tell his boys to get in the ears of those Stormers guys. Throw around a couple of inside jokes that only they would know about, and see if we can disrupt. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of handbags thrown.
Well, I think you got to target certain people. You've got to. And for me, if I'm the Bulls, I'll be sitting there telling. If I'm Jake White, I'm sitting there telling my pack. I'm telling Marco Verstappen, and I'm telling Amorne Smith, Hero I'm saying, you guys get under the skin of Evan Lewis and get him sent off, because he will do something stupid.
Oh, jeez.
Those sort of players. You sit there going, that's one of their best players, but he's a walking penalty if he wants to. He's got a bit of a temper. Try and play into that. I mean, it's like how often people used to just buy yellow cards with Bismarck UPC and stuff like that. There's certain players which are always just they can't resist. And
no.
I mean, Evan Etzebeth, in the beginning, he wasn't in control of those kind of tactics that he used to use. But in his later years now, he's become almost an expert at making sure that he's instigating, but also getting the reaction out that he wants from it and walking away. And so you need that kind of guy to just, you mentioned Michael Rhodes earlier. Also in his later years, a fantastic exponent of getting reactions out of people just by being there. And you want to disrupt them. Even a guy if you can get under the skin of a guy like Davian Willemse, his game is gone. And he's very composed most of the time, but he has the ability to crack sometimes. And once you do, I think that you could probably disrupt that game pretty well.
Yeah. Also, Mani Lobok's form's dipped a bit. He's also gone a little bit off the boil.
I think the Bulls need to be targeting certain players, to be honest. I think they need to be sitting there. I mean, personally, I'm interested to see who starts to scrum off, because I haven't particularly impressed with Paul DeVette, and I've actually been very impressed with him.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm
glad you bring that up. I agree. Paul DeVette's not the caliber. He's not as good as I was hoping he could be. He's definitely a weaker link there.
Yeah,
Jancis should be given the run.
Yeah, and I think if they can target him, and prevent Levi from getting decent ball and putting him under pressure, I also think that he's someone who sometimes has struggled when he's been put under a lot of pressure. I think, from a pack perspective, I don't think there are too many chinks in the Stormers' armour. I mean, obviously Dion Foury is the big loss, but Darmani coming back into a bit of form and Evan Lewis coming back, you can probably try and sort of fill that gap. That tight five is really, really solid. It's for me. I think the wings. I think if it becomes quite loose, I'm interested to see who they go. I mean, for example, Hotspur kind of dropped out because it was defensive his positioning has been a bit poor lately. So I think that's where, for me, your likes of the Kane and Moody, Kirkley, Orange, I think if they should be targeting those wide channels. I think if they can get one-on-ones, Kirkley Orange versus most people is a dodgy. It's a dodgy setup. So if you can get it one-on-one with a couple of those Stormers wings, I reckon the Bulls would also exploit those sort of areas.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
That's the thing with Dion Perry. Sorry, Riza.
No, carry on. Sorry.
No, so Dion Perry, not just the turnovers and the points gained, net gain that we have with him on the field. Like Stormers have just looked rudderless. Like that's what's worried me the most is their body language. Like it just doesn't look like if you watch them. I think he was captain. Was it Ori that was captain? I think he was recently, or so. Some were right one. But it's just not the same. That's what I said after the Exeter game, and then they've come back. That's the body language. There was a kiss about the Stormers. They talked about the team spirit, and when they got talk about all of that, the good vibe. But that vibe seems to be a little bit. That spark seems to be gone. But maybe if they find it this week, they'll do well.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also comes from the exuberance of certain players. So, like you said, the Dion Faris and the Evan Ruiz, when they aren't there, I'm not talking about aggression, but just you can feel the energy of certain players, and you feed off that, right?
Yeah.
So when they're not there, I think it's quite a big problem. Marvin Ori, you mentioned him; he is the exact opposite. The man
Ori that was captain.
Man is a stone.
Yeah. Look, and the thing is, you got to find that balance. You need your stock standard sort of. I mean, that's what Marvin Ori is. I mean, a lot of people don't like him because he's nothing flash, but he's just a very solid rugby player, very nebulous. To be fair, he is somebody that does try to get under people's skin. He actually does it quite well. He's had a couple of moments where whether it's just throwing a ball down or tapping a scrum off in the wrong way, but he's very quiet. And I think you need people that bring that energy, and that's what Dion Free. For example, look at the lines with and without Frankie Horn. They're like two different teams. He comes back and the entire team just sort of suddenly switches up a notch. Siakalisi is a bit of a player like that. He has a couple of runs, a couple of big moments, and everybody around him's like, shit, this guy's playing. I've actually got to step up my game here and try and match what he's doing. So I do think they're missing that aspect of Dion Free many ways more than as you're saying, Chris, his actual what his output is. It's just that person next to you that's playing out of his socks, and you have to sit there going, shit, I need to be matching this energy. I need to be matching this sort of level of performance.
I agree. I mean, I think we've all played rugby, right? I remember. I mean, I was at a top school, but I remember one or two captains of mine who were just as captains were just like awesome. That energy that they brought to the field. You do, as a player, you do rub off on it. You want to match it, and when you're out there.
100%.
Now the next big question: Bulls did it last year. Can the Sharks go to Dublin and return victorious? What chance are we giving them, if any? Shame, all the lads are watching. They've all signed new contracts. They've got a new coach, John Plumtree, sitting there. Go on, lads, go over there and do something special.
Well, listen, if the guys in the comments want to tell us an Indifference, go ahead. But I think...
you want the opinion? That's the honest. That's my. I can't find a reason or. Yeah, I can't. I mean, they might be able to give them the game. They might be able to play like they did when they played them in October when they put 30 odd points and were up there right until close to the end. But Leinster aren't losing this game.
Yeah, they haven't given us a reason to believe in them.
The reason that's the word.
Now that you're at the end part of the season, I think we can quite happily stick our necks on the line and say, well, on a balance of probabilities, you're going to give us the same that you've been giving us. And so if the probability is 2 out of 10 times you're going to show us a good performance, I think we're pretty comfortable saying that you're not going to show up on the day.
Yeah, and I think just be honest, the Sharks have weaknesses that Leinster don't. Leinster are going to show up those weaknesses. Like even if Sharks do end up scoring 30 points again, which not many teams do there, I can still see Leinster putting 50 past the Sharks, and that's the problem. Like Toulouse putting all that points past. I just don't think the Sharks are a cohesive, well-coached unit to live with Leinster. I'm sorry, like there's some players there, but they're not the same level as Leinster. And they say the motivation levels that Leinster have at the moment, they're not dropping this game. And I kind of made a comment. I wanted Sharks have also cost me a lot of money this season, so maybe there's a little bit of bitterness there. But besides that, I mean, the Sharks have only got themselves to blame to have earned themselves a trip to Leinster for the quarterfinal. They've shot
Yeah, no,
themselves in the
they
foot. So
shouldn't have been going over there. They should be
they've,
going. They should be playing against Ulster tomorrow.
they've, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
some
So
credit to this Leinster team.
they've earned themselves this. They've earned themselves this trip, so they can go and make what they want out of it.
It's like a
You know?
punishment. Yeah, you want to stuff up. Go to Leinster, get beaten. This is what you get.
Well, I mean, the Storm, Storm is also kicking themselves, but no one wants to go to Leinster at this time of the year, right? Especially been over that side of the world a few times already.
No, and I think for me the biggest issue for the Sharks is that they're missing key players in key positions. You know, no Ibn Etzebeth, no Sekulisi, no Rowan Janssen van Rensburg. You know, that means you don't have your crash ball centre who's going to get over the advantage line all the time. You don't have
the scrummy.
Yeah, no Jaden Hendrickson, which I think this. I mean, when you say you're going over to Dublin, I love Grant Williams. I think he's an absolutely brilliant scrum half. You want somebody like a Jaden Hendrickson who can control a game, who can tactically, because he's somebody who can. Like when you're under pressure, you can say, right, boys, we're just going to slow this down. We're going to manage the next 10, 15 minutes. Whereas I think Grant Williams is very much like, right, boys, I'm seeing half a gap, I'm going. I'm like, no. Which is what makes them so much fun to watch. But I think they are missing lots of key players, which maybe could have made them competitive, but I just don't see them being anywhere near good enough this weekend.
Well, just eating our words.
If I could give a word to Leinster, though, is just like, honestly, having watched more and more of them, and I wasn't entirely convinced in the beginning of the season, but I'm starting to think of this team as the way they play now is like the Crusaders. I don't want to mention the years because it hurts too much, but
Crusaders 1990 through to now.
Well, I mean, as a Lions fan, I know what they did to us, and arguably, even in years where we had our very best team, best chances of them beating them, they still came out and they did the job on us. And this is how I'm feeling about this Leinster team: is that even if any other team right now, I think if they put up their very best performance, Stormers included, and Leinster are playing at 85%, I think Leinster win. I think they're just so good. And what I love about them is that they've adapted to a clinical game. It's an all-round game. It's if you were trying to teach kids rugby, I would take this videos of their entire season so far and show them this is how you game manage. This is how you do basics right. And you will win games. That they are the model for it. You know, there's not a lot of flash, in my opinion. There's not. Most of it is honestly just simple. Draw, pass, make space. Draw, pass, make space. What do you do when you're under pressure? Give yourself the room, get territory. They play that kind of game, and it's fantastic to watch. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
And I think what also makes them quite special is the fact that they've got a couple of players who, if there is that half chance, that we saw that Dan Sheehan try last weekend, where one bounces the ball and you've got your hooker just grabbing on it, absolutely gassing half the team and going over. So they've got this couple of players.
That comes from pressure, though.
Yeah.
Right? And so just back to basics again. It's like you always taught if you put enough pressure on in set pieces, in your defensive lines, folks on the other team are going to do something stupid, and you are going to have the opportunity to have those individual moments of brilliance. And that try was wild, by the way. I don't know, that gas came out of nowhere, dude. I mean, he's gone to bed a happy man after that.
No, that's impressive. But yeah, so last words there, Chris.
Yeah, no, a word that when you talk about the top teams that you've ever seen and play, like All Blacks most of the time, Crusaders, and now Leinster, the word clinical. These teams are always clinical. Like they do everything that they do, they want to do, they execute. And there's not many teams. They've got all the basics covered. They know their strengths, and you see the execution. You don't see you don't see silly stuff on the field. You don't see bad mistakes. You don't see someone having a brain fart. It's all go time, show time, business time, deliver. And there's not many teams that pull that off over a period of time. And Leinster's in one of those cycles now where they're like the top team that does it. Like the Crusaders have been, let's face it, for the last 20 years, last 6 years as well.
You earn the right to play, right? It's what you're always told. Just earn the right to throw it around. And that's something that I think the Sharks in particular is a team that comes to mind, that they've been chucking it around since like moment one in some games and unable to finish and execute.
Yeah, if you watch teams like Leinster and Crusaders, you never see a ball carrier look like they're shocked to have the ball. Like
Yeah.
you see, like I'll be admit, like South African sides, like Lock all of a sudden have this ball and he doesn't know where he's running. Like if you watch teams like Leinster and Crusaders, everyone, it's just there's purpose on it, you know.
To be fair,
There's
I think most of the time the Lions
it looks like they know what they're
the
doing.
ball. You know, it's tough one.
Yeah.
But Chris, you spoke about delivery, and delivery is very important. And what we want you to deliver this weekend is more of this.
Oh, more of the good stuff.
Because we're looking good. We've had a hell of a season, I tell you what.
Yeah. Well, I say no losing record yet, even though it's on the line this week because it's only one bet, and it's 4 legs. So we're at risk here, but still pretty confident that it's going to arrive. And obviously, it won't hit the overall record too hard if we do finally fall off the bus. But we're not going to. I'm sure we're going to do all right. But yeah, I mean, obviously we were off last week. Just a recap on the week previously. The one leg that lost us down on the one double was the Newcastle plus 18. Which hindsight was a shocking call because Northampton absolutely blew them away. Yeah, which is I'm a little bit annoyed because Northampton has been a team that I've backed a lot over the last 2 seasons. Lots of people haven't rated them, but they are a very good side and well-coached side. And then looks like they're in the semis again. So that was probably a bit of a brain fart call there. But then I did believe Newcastle selection. I was hoping they would also score more points. I mean, they scored the first try, and I thought, yep, okay, that's just going to go the way I was hoping or expecting. But yeah, the Saints just blew them away. And then obviously Blues won comfortably. A while ago, who these teams were playing, I can't remember now actually. And then the Rebels versus Satyrs, that last try was a last-minute try again. But this is betting, right? I think this is the 3rd week in a row that we've had an 80th minute try bring our bets home. But that's what it is. We've caught the outcome and it's arrived, so we don't look back. So yeah, what's our overall record? We're up to 9.49 units profits, which is pretty good going. So I suppose if you've bet 100 rand units on all these bets, you'll be up 949 rand over the last 6-7 weeks since we've been doing this, and a return on investment of 75.5%, which is very decent. If you look at any tipsters or punters, by bare minimum you need to be around 20-25% if you want any kind of credibility. You're doing really, really well at 40%, and the top guys are at 60-70. So
look what we've got here. We've got the Leinster of sports betting, ladies and gentlemen.
But look, I mean, to keep it at 70, that is really good. Obviously, it is a high number, but to keep it at that's gonna be we'll be doing really well. And obviously, over time, that will most likely come down. But maybe I have the magic with you boys, and we'll keep riding it.
I don't like the negative energy.
I need positive. Yeah, no, we'll keep it rolling there. We'll keep it rolling. And this one we have lined up for this week. If that does win, that's definitely going to juice it all up big time. So what we've gone for this week. So yeah, as you guys know, right, I've used the available markets that are around for the show, which is must say a few games and markets that I would normally be targeting, but with what I've got for this during this time now, we're going to go with the Ulster home win outright against Connacht. I don't have any issue with that punt as well. I think Ulster at home are always generally pretty strong. Knockout rugby, Connacht away are generally not nearly as strong, but I'm confident that Ulster will do the business, but we only just need them to win. The handicap is 10, so they're 10 points favourite, which is quite a big favourite, so we just want them to win. See, I've got the Bulls sentiment here. We've gone for Bulls plus 13.5 points. Because the cap is 5. I think either team are going to win. It's going to be within 5, but we'll give Bulls 13 points because you also get more, because Stormers are the favourites. We get more value there at 1.39. So Bulls plus 13.5 points. Reds at home to the Waratahs. This is probably not. Yeah, well, I'm pretty confident the Reds are going to win. So I've taken the Reds plus 4.5. I've taken the plus 4. I would have probably gone Reds money line to up the value, but it is a Aussie derby. Waratahs are playing all right, but I think Reds at home should do the business. And even if Waratah sneak it in by 3 points, the bet will still come home. So that's why I'm confident on the Reds +4. And then tomorrow morning, Highlanders versus Chiefs over 52. Now the points line, the line cap is 60, and usually prior to this season, New Zealand derbies were often high scoring, and they'll often go over 55 most games, 60 points. But it's actually been the New Zealand derbies that haven't been producing the points lately, but the competition as a whole has produced in a lot of points. So I'm still happy to take the points, and I actually do genuinely believe tomorrow the Highlanders are going to go hammer and tongue at the Chiefs. I think Chiefs have got a strong side there as well. I think these teams are going to have a good old ding-dong battle, a few tries, some try ping-pong there going on. So over 52, I think it does get close, pushes definitely minimum 55, but does push 60. So yeah, this is a four-leg bet, 3.33. Because we have made some units here, I'm willing to, maybe probably would have betted 1 unit or 0.75, but let's use some of our profits. I think there's pretty good bets, and if it comes in, we got a very nice, decent, healthy profit again to add to the record. So, yeah, let's bring it home.
Right, well, there we go. And as always, Bruce, thank you very much. And as always, big shout out to Big Coaster, who power both the fan forum as well as all our watch-alongs for the weekend. If you'd like to get a Big Coaster account, check out the description. And that is. I have been following Chris, and there's a nice little this little pocket of money that is carefully growing. By the end of the year, we might be able to afford a litre or two of petrol. So things are getting there quite nicely. And as always, if you'd like to have more tips, because Chris does throw out a few over the weekend, check out him on the Crow tips there.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff there from our
there's
master
definitely some more doubles and trebles coming this week, and I do like the slate. But like I said, unfortunately, Betcoza doesn't have these games out by showtime now. Like there's the English Premiership last round of the season there. Some games there that I'm eyeing out, and I do quite like some of the Super Rugby games. So yeah, so have a look there if you guys if you follow or interested.
Cool, love your work. Right, then we're going to go to Louise, who wants to throw us a bit of a question, and get to give a I hope he gets a bit controversial. The question, can you remember the questions now?
Yeah, I do actually.
Throw it, give it to me. Hit me up with some big chats.
Just an interesting one there, and I hope the guys in the comments just get involved as well. I saw a post, I can't remember who it was, so I apologize for stealing it from someone. But the question was, if you could bring out one former Springbok.
Which James?
From a selection of 5. Not a bad shot, but
come on!
From a selection of 5, and they are a mixture of positions. Who would you bring out? And I guess the idea is they would slot into the current Springbok squad and take them to the World Cup. So your options are, starting in the front row, you've got Oosterhunt, you've got Schalk Burger, you've got Fourie du Preez, you've got Percy Montgomery, and I think the last one was Brian Abana, I think it was.
Not Jacques Fourie.
Right. Jacques Fourie, not Brian Abana.
Big guy. Chase himself.
Yeah. So Oosterhunt, Schalk Burger, Fourie du Preez, Percy Montgomery, or Jacques Fourie. So I thought that was an interesting one. I'd like to delve into it a little bit. We had a little short discussion off stream. But yeah, let's. I'll go last. Let's put it that way.
I'll go first. Say what? I'll put the block early on. So I'm going to try and work through them. So Oosterhunt, the legendary Lucid. I mean, we've been pretty blessed with Lucid. We went from Oosterhunt to Beaton Tawera, and now we've got Stephen Cook and Oxen Chairs. So one position we've never really struggled with. In fact, we've had so many we've started turning them into tight ends. So love Oosterhunt, love the idea of bringing him back, but I think we're pretty covered in that department. Schalk Burger, I mean, it's difficult to ever say you don't want a Schalk Burger in your team. I mean, it's just even when you're, I mean, and South Africa have always had some of the best loose forwards in world rugby. So I'm going to leave Schalk Burger there. He might be the one I'm going with, to be honest. Okay. The obvious one is Fourie du Preez, the best scrum half of all time. And I'll fight anyone that says it otherwise, because the best players of all time all rate him as the best scrum half of all time. So Aaron Smith can come in at a second, but I'm taking Fourie all the time. I think he probably would suit the current team best than any of the other 5. I think that he is such a good game management player. I think he reads the game so well. We do play so much off 9 that having such a good 9 there, I think, would be pretty important. It'll be interesting to see defensively what he would be like compared to like a Faf de Klerk, quite a different type of player.
Do you think that perhaps he might lack a bit of the physicality needed for the modern game?
Hey, look, he wore that hit from Schalk Burger pretty well, so I think he'd be all right. Look, I suppose if Grant Williams can play and if After Clerk can make it, or if After Clerk's physicality always just blows my mind. But then Jacques Fourie, look, I mean Jacques Fourie was like my favorite player growing up. I think he was most lines, but I mean he's about the only world class player we had when I sort of during my sort of formative years. So it's difficult to ever say I don't want a Schalk Burger. The Kenya though last year was probably one of the best, if not the best, 13 in the world at one stage. So it's difficult to. So I think for me one of the reasons why we're so tempted to put Schalk Burger is obviously his defensive reading of the game. The fact that we won 2019 based on such a good defensive system.
Keep in mind, I'm not saying it has to be a starting position.
So keep it off the bench as well.
No, it's just in your squad to take to the World Cup.
To be fair, I don't think. Maybe a Schalk Burger does quite well off the bench, but I think everybody else starts if you're playing him. Percy Montgomery, I don't think he suits our current team, to be honest. I think that, maybe to a certain degree. I look at he's a world class player, but I think at the end of the day, Freddie Lou is the coach, and I'm backing my boy. So I'm between Schalk Burger and Freddie. But you know what I mean? I'm actually going to go Schalk Burger off the bench as part of the bomb squad. I think in terms of an impact player, which is a wild child to bench him because he's phenomenal, I think. But I think when if we had Seacles, Pierce Depthpoint, Wave playing 55 minutes, and then you released a Schalk Burger on an entire team, I think that's quite a frightening prospect. So I want to go Schalk.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, because I knocked something and it looked like okay. That's good. All right.
Go on, Chris. Let's hear it.
Yeah, geez. Well, I agree. Jacques Fourie was one of my favorite players of all time. So we had a discussion previously, and I'm thinking of what we currently have. Also love Brian Abana, but I think at the moment we're spoiled for wingers.
Sorry, Abana's out. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. It's Abana's not in the discussion at all.
Yeah. Okay.
You got Percy. Percy, you got.
So no, yeah, I think Percy was good for his time. I agree. I don't think Percy would be probably needed now. I think for me, I would definitely have Fourie du Preez starting over Faf. I think he would just bring a lot more and do what Faf does and more. So I would have him as a straight swap out, and I would probably have Jacques Fourie starting at 13, and Arm could come in as a backline player. But I think Fourie was just too. Arm at his best is good, but I just think Jacques Fourie had a little bit. I don't know. He was just, maybe it's just because he's one of my favorite players. I love Arm. Don't get me wrong. Arm's been amazing for the Boks. But there was just something. Maybe it was just
he just doesn't have that pressure. Just doesn't walk around, stretch around like he bloody owns the place.
But I think that the Villiers Fourie combo was also pretty good. They complement each other really well, which is important.
Chat for another day, but I think the Villiers after Fourie was never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree. I tried that he scored against the Lions at Loftus. It was just summed him up perfectly. But I mean, also as a Stormers fan, I remember just him. De Villiers put in Fourie away, like most games. It was just so beautiful. 30 meters out, Fourie running a line, De Villiers putting him through, or even vice versa. Fourier's popping it inside, or it was just awesome. Those two were awesome together.
Yeah. We literally, as far as I can see, he didn't go to Stormers. So don't come here with your, I remember Stormers. He's a Lions legend. He was there for like a season or two.
And Big Joe, is he a Stormer or is he a Lion?
Listen, we've got to claim what we can take here. Like I'm claiming anyone here. So the reason now you threw out the question, where you at? So Chris, you're going Freddie du Preez, and I'm going Schalk Burger off the bench. Yeah. Reason?
I'm almost convinced about the Freddie du Preez shot. Almost convinced. I think for the same reasons as you, Stevie. Osterrand, fantastic for his time, especially, and an all-time great, but not something that we need right now going into this World Cup. Schalky, yes, yeah, that's a tight one for me. And you know what? He's not too far behind in terms of the modern style of play. And I just love Jacques Fourie. So every time I want to say someone else, I'm just thinking about Jacques. Percy, I also think that perhaps his playstyle might be a bit outdated, but I think if I'm going to go for someone, I'm going to say Farid Dupree off the bench.
That's not a bad start, actually. I think in terms of someone who has to see a game more, for example, I don't think you get much better.
Yeah, I don't think he's the starting man right now in this current side, but I think he lends a lot of guidance to a lot of young scrum halves and relatively inexperienced. Some guidance for Faf when he gets a bit excited. Maybe teach him how to box kick, and I think from a leadership perspective, something that we could definitely use in the background there. So Farid Dupree, the main man, as usual. Ask the breakdown, they'll say nonsense, but yeah.
We're not going to mention people that don't watch rugby. Come now.
And talking about old school and old favorites, my first car was named Os because Os was one of my first favorites.
Please tell me it was like an Opel Kadett or something.
Donny Gerber and Os Durant.
Wow.
What was the car?
Mazda Sting.
324. A Mazda Sting called Os. I love that.
I'm actually gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to Google. I don't know what the hell that is.
It's like
it didn't look like an Os, but it didn't look. I know it needed to be a Hilux or something like that.
Os could probably lift it up. You could probably bench press it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna point out that a Mazda Sting, I've probably confused it with a Toyota Taz so many times in my life.
I think they come out the same factory, but just with different stickers on it, to be honest.
Wow.
Do you remember those cars? Yeah.
Right, because you also give away your age there, but...
Yeah.
Alright, well, fair enough. Okay, so Reese, are you going Farid Dupree off the bench?
Yeah.
I'm going Farid Dupree start. No, I'm going Schalk Burger off the bench, and Chris was going to go Farid Dupree start. Well, there we go. I suppose at least we've all got different options. But chaps, before the lights go out, and not in a good way, please do smash like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. To everybody who's watching, chaps, thank you very much for joining me. And we will be back live again next week. We'll be talking about the Sharks as well as the Bulls being in the semi-finals. Imagine that were to happen. But yeah, at least we know that one South African team will still be in the URC after this weekend. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about more of the news because there's so much news coming through. John Plumtree confirmed today as well, so we're interested to see what the reaction is going to be to that. We've had rumours about Rasmus potentially taking over as head coach. There's a lot of rumours, a lot of stories, a lot of news coming around. So we'll discuss a lot of that as well next week. But unfortunately, we're running out of time yet. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Reza and Chris have a great weekend. I'm sure there'll be a bit of banter thrown around the group. Chris, hopefully all the bets do land. And yeah. To everybody else, we will see you. Well, I'll see you tomorrow evening for Ulster vs Connacht, where we can watch Dwayne Vermeulen put in one of those meteoric performances just to prove that he still is #1 top dog in the side. So join me then. Hello and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sports. And have Leinster underestimated the Sharks? Welcome to the Leinster versus Sharks preview. They will be taking each other on in the third quarterfinal of the 2023 URC. And very interesting teams being put out by both sides, with Leinster changing 9 players in their starting 15 from the team that beat Toulouse a week ago, with no injuries actually being really reported in the press release. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what the thinking is there. And yeah, it's interesting because you've got to weigh up, you know, the games ahead as a Leinster coach, you know, and Leinster coaching staff, because you've got a Champions Cup final happening on the 20th of May, you know, so you've got that in about 3 weeks' time. Over the next 2 weeks, you've got to get to a quarterfinal and a semi-final in the URC. So you've got 4 weeks in a row. If you win every single game for the next 4 weeks, they end up with the URC and the Champions Cup. So they can't afford to lose a single game. But at the same time, they've got to try and find the best way to manage their squad for this 4-week period. So it's an interesting side. But before we look at the two sides, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. They're in Dublin, and Leinster just don't generally lose in Dublin. They did lose to the Sharks, to the Bulls, however, last year. So that'll definitely be at the back of their mind. But Yeah, you look at this team, and it's a team that's very much for me a combination of we can afford to try and rotate, but we need to have a couple of players on the bench, if things do go wrong. It's still a very Shark side. And I think the biggest thing is, in terms of underestimating the Sharks, it's not the best Shark side. Quite a few changes that they've had to make. This Leinster side is an institution, though. It is an institution. It is a side where no matter who comes in, we saw it against the Lions when they beat them. Yes, they got hammered by the Bulls a week later by the youngsters, but there's so much talent. There's so much depth in this Leinster side. They can afford to do what they've done. And what have they done, you may ask? Well, this is what they've done. Right, so there we go. 9 changes to the starting 15. So Ty Furlong and Dan Sheehan will have a new loose-head partner in Michael Milner. Those two are one of the two of the 6 players that have remained in the starting lineup. It's an all-new lock combination as Maloney and James Ryan drop out of the side completely. They are replaced by Ryan Beard and Keenan are the back 3, and Charlie Nagatai has Kieran Frawley next to him. The first time those two have started as a centre combination this season. And off the bench, the players who things go wrong, they look to try and bring on an impact or else to seal off the game are John McKee, Andrew Porter, Kian Healy, Joe McCarthy, Jack Conan, Jamison Gibson Park, Ross Byrne, Liam Turner. Very good players. Very much players who can affect change in the game, but also players who can really see out a game. Jamison Gibson Park, Ross Byrne could very well be in the Irish pivot. The Irish halfback pairing for the rest of the year before Johnny Sexton makes his return. And Jamison Gibson Park, for me, one of the most fundamental players currently to Ireland as well as Leinster. Jack Cohen, very solid player. No Josh van der Fleer this weekend. No Gary Ringrose, who were both involved last week. So they're not going to be involved this week. So it's an interesting side. And this is the Sharks side that we'll have to try and beat. Very good front row. Worry about the second row. Oxenchair, Bongi, Manambi, Thomas, Toy do all start, and that's kind of pretty standard. And Instituto Clunu Sadi off the bench. It's a very good front row. It's a very good replacement front row. Youngster, 20-year-old Corne Arol gets an opportunity. There's just no locks at the moment for the Sharks. I mean, they've got, I think, like 4 or 5 locks out. You got Etzebeth out. I think Hiron Andrews is out. You've got Roots is out. I mean, I had them all written down somewhere. I can't actually find a piece of paper. But there's like 5 or 6 locks they're missing. So Corne Arol, what an opportunity for him. Next to Karan Krobler, who's been very good this season. So he's going to have to step up. James Fent is the man who will be tasked with filling that space vacated by Sia Khaleesi. Vincent Chituka, Sikiboza Noche do complete that loose trio. It's a decent pack, and they need certain players to stand up. Vincent Chituka, Sikiboza Noche, for me, are 2 players that have to stand up tomorrow if they're going to have a chance. Bongi Manambi and Thomas Toy as well, and Oxenchair, obviously, they're going to have to pack it up front, but I think those 2, especially in the loose, are going to need to have big games. Speaking of big games, no Kerwin Bosch this weekend, and he's been absolutely massive for the Sharks. So it's a huge opportunity for Buddha Chamberlain to rise to the occasion. He starts at fly half. You'll have Grant Williams inside him. He's an electric form at the moment. Makazolo Pimpy, Morris Porkita, Apile Fasio, back 3. In the centres, Ben Tapawai, Lekanya An, who will captain this side. Off the bench, Pheasant Barty, who hasn't played too much URC rugby, makes sort of his return into the setup. You then got Insuko Kluna and Carly Sardi, as mentioned. John Olabaskakni, who recently signed a new contract. Pepsi Butulezi, Cameron Wright, Navaldo Fleurs, and Rohan Janssen from Rensburg. So not too much depth. I mean, Navaldo Fleurs being, I wouldn't say thrown to the wolves, but I tell you, it's a hell of an opportunity for him to have over here. And Rohan Janssen from Rensburg, that's a nice little player to be able to bring on the bench, off the bench. And probably would have been starting had he been more fit in the last few weeks and played more. But it's not the best Sharks side, but it's also not the best Leinster side. So at the end of the day, the Sharks cannot be blown away in the first or 20 minutes. They've got to hang in there. The longer the game goes, the more the upsets on the cards. That's how these sort of games work. You've got to stay in the fight. You can't be put away. That's what Leinster did so well against Toulouse. They put them away relatively early. And you can't afford for that to happen. I mean, if you look at last weekend, for example, Leinster scored in the 16th, 21st, 26th minute. Bang, bang, bang. 21 points in 11 minutes. The game's gone. Sharks can't afford to do that. So if they can hang into the fight for as long as possible, that's the only chance they've got an opportunity. It is a massive opportunity for them to do something very special. I don't think anybody really sees it happening, but you know what? Nobody saw the Bulls beating Leinster. So if not, why not? Let's see tomorrow. Let me know what you think is going to happen down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. Hello everybody and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Leinster versus Schalk this weekend. It is the third quarterfinal of the URC. It'll take place just after the Bulls versus the Stormers game, and so we will wait and see which South African team could be joined by the Sharks if they were to go and pull off what I'm branding Mission Impossible, to go over and beat Leinster in Ireland. But I'll tell you what, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So the Sharks will have to beat the best if they are to try and progress this weekend. Now, the more important thing is how can you watch all the action right now? There's a very, very simple way, and that is if you are in the UK or Ireland, you can watch the entire thing on a free-to-air broadcaster because it is being shown on RTE2. If you are outside the UK or Ireland, though, you can still watch the action all live, and that is through the use of a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, link down in the description, and we've got a step-by-step guide on how to watch all the action. So, yeah, first things first, you want to get yourself ExpressVPN, and go and download and install it. This is what it looks like. I recommend getting a 12-month subscription because you get an extra 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free, as well as watching certain Rugby Championship games, as well as lots of different sport as well, which we'll do videos on every single week. So make sure you go and download it, and you can connect to either an Ireland or a UK server. Both should work. And because I'm connected over there, I'm currently watching RTE2. Now, my screen capture won't show the actual action, but I can unmute and you can hear there's currently an advert going on. But so you can probably hear, as you can see, it's playing there. As soon as I press pause, it'll stop and stuff. So you can't see the action because it won't capture the sound, I mean the video, but you can hear from the sound that it is currently working. Now, you can use this method as well to watch Glasgow versus Munster. You can also watch Bulls versus Stormers, as well as Ulster versus Connacht on a free-to-air broadcast. Those ones are being shown on TG4. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Apart from that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Right, hello everybody and welcome to Fair Rugby on Forever Sports. Leinster versus Sharks. We've just seen the Stormers deliver a proper performance against the Bulls. The question is now, can their South African counterparts, the Sharks, do what the Bulls did last year, go to Leinster and come back with a victory? Can they do what is being labeled Mission Impossible? And I'll tell you what, the comments, I mean, the poll at the moment reckons they might be able to do it. So it's an interesting poll. But welcome to the stream. We had a really cool stream earlier now, and had well over 1,000 people joining in at a stage. So let's smash like on the video. Let's subscribe to the channel. Let's try and make this another very fun stream. So please add your support. We wanted to get past 24,500 subscribers today. We've gotten past 24,600. Well, I mean, actually on our way to 24,700. So please do subscribe if you are new to the channel as well, as we try and build up towards that 25,000 subscriber mark, which would be pretty cool to do. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. It is over in Dublin, and Leinster don't lose in Dublin. That's kind of just what they do, apart from when they lost to the Bulls last year. So maybe they do lose in Dublin. We wait and see. But it's an interesting clash because it's not the strongest Leinster side. They've made, I think, 8 or 9 changes to the starting 15 that beat Toulouse last weekend. It's a depleted Shark side, however, missing a lot of players through injury. So it's two sides not at their best from a team point of view, and you know, you kind of then back Leinster to get the job done. Ironically, if you look at the last 3 meetings between the two sides, Sharks have actually won twice, Leinster once. However, the home team has always won in this clash. So when the Sharks have beaten Leinster, it has been at home, and often that you know, when it's a weakened Leinster side, to be fair. And then if you look at the last 5 games, for example, Leinster they've only lost 1 game the entire URC. So imagine losing 1 game the entire URC and then going out in the first playoff game. It would be absolutely insane if that were to happen. So jump in the comments, let me know where you're watching from. Vic, well, thank you very much, Vic, for the super chat, saying Sharks for the win. I actually can't remember the last time we had a super chat. I mean, cheapers, you actually forget about them. So thank you, Vic. I appreciate that. Appreciate the donation. And if anyone would like to consider becoming a member of the channel, then check out the pinned comment. And yeah, if you'd like to become a member and support the channel, then you can there as well. Otherwise, just subscribe. Just add a like to the video. It costs you nothing to add a like. And yeah, hopefully we're gonna in for a good game. I just don't want to see a walkover. I want to see a close game. I want to see a bit of drama. You know, I just don't want to see. I don't want to see it, being Leinster just walking. I mean, just hammering the Sharks, and then there's nothing to play for. So that's for me the biggest thing. Is that we've got to make sure that hopefully it's a bit better, a bit closer than what we might have seen in the past. Where I think if it was, I mean, the previous results, for example, we saw 54-34 last early in the season. I'll take that result. To be fair, a nice high-scoring game would be quite cool. But I don't want to see. You don't want to see a runaway game. It's a playoff game. You want to see it close. You want to see some drama. You want to see, things. You don't want to see an upset always be on the cards, because if an upset's not on the cards, then where's the fun in a playoff? To be fair, it was quite one-sided in the Stormers versus Bulls game. But it's North-South derby, so there's always that sort of added grab to it. But yeah, we've got 8 minutes to go. We're going to go through the teams in a little bit. But the big thing is a lot of people are always asking, how can I watch all the action? Meanwhile, the Bulls, by the way, are beating the Sharks in the Currie Cup, which is pretty exciting for them. Is he trying to work out why this is now saying? Yeah, I was about to say. On the one channel, it's got the Leinster versus Sharks game at 7 o'clock, and I was about to say, unless I've missed something, then it very much starts now in the next 8 minutes. So yeah, we've got the 7 minutes will kick off. But yeah, as I was saying, the big thing that people keep asking is, how can I watch the action? How do I watch it? And you can watch it on a free-to-air broadcaster, actually. So if you would like to know how to watch it, I will show you. And go and get yourself ExpressVPN, and with that, you can then watch on a free-to-air broadcaster. It's a very simple method. A lot of people are using this method to watch the Bulls versus the Stormers game. This is on a different channel, however, it's not on TG4. It is, in fact, on RTE2, which is an English language channel, so the commentary will be in English. But yeah, if you're looking to watch the game, then this is how you can do it. Hello everybody and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Leinster versus Sharks this weekend. It is the third quarterfinal of the URC. It'll take place just after the Bulls versus the Stormers game, and so we will wait and see which South African team could be joined by the Sharks if they were to go and pull off what I'm branding Mission Impossible, to go over and beat Leinster in Ireland. But I'll tell you what, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So the Sharks will have to beat the best if they are to try and progress this weekend. Now, the more important thing is, how can you watch all the action? Right now, there's a very, very simple way, and that is if you are in the UK or Ireland, you can watch the entire thing on a free-to-air broadcaster, because it is being shown on RTE2. If you are outside the UK or Ireland, though, you can still watch the action all live, and that is through the use of a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, link down in the description, and we've got a step-by-step guide on how to watch all the action. So, yeah, first things first, you want to get yourself ExpressVPN, and go and download it and install it. This is what it looks like. I recommend getting a 12-month subscription, because you get an extra 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free, as well as watching certain Rugby Championship games, as well as lots of different sport as well, which we'll do videos on every single week. So make sure you go and download it, and you can connect to either an Ireland or a UK server. Both should work. And because I'm connected over there, I'm currently watching RTE2 now. My screen capture won't show the actual action, but I can unmute, and you can hear there's currently an advert going on. But so you can probably hear, as you can see, it's playing there. As soon as I press pause, it'll stop and stuff. So you can't see the action because it won't capture the sound, I mean the video, but you can hear from the sound that it is currently working. Now, you can use this method as well to watch Glasgow versus Munster. You can also watch Bulls versus Stormers, as well as Ulster versus Connacht on a free-to-air broadcast. Those ones are being shown on TG4. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Apart from that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Right, and there we go. There we go. That's how you can watch the action. So absolutely no excuses whatsoever to miss anything. Kickoff is in 4 minutes' time, which means it's going to be about time to look at the two teams. Very interesting teams being announced. For the Sharks, naming as strong as they can with all the injuries they've got. for Leinster, it is a weakened side. You know, you can talk about the fact that, you know, there's no such thing as a weak Leinster side, and I agree. But there's always such thing as a weaker Leinster side, and they have made a lot of changes. For example, no Gary Ringrose, no Josh van der Fleer, no Gary Ringrose, even in the 23. So lots of players who have been rotated out for this match. So if we look at the Leinster side, Michael Milner, Dan Shear, and Tyke Furlong start in the front row. It's a new lock combination of Jason Jenkins, Ryan Beard, Max Deegan, Scott Penny coming into loose trio, Caelan Doris moving from number 6 to number 8. Then Luke McGrath partners Harry Byrne, his brother Ross on the bench, Dave Kearney, Jordan Lamour, and there's the two wings, Charlie Ingatai and Kieran Frawley at the centres there, and Hugo Keenan starting at full back. Off the bench, it'll be John McKee, Andrew Porter, Cian Healy, Joe McCarthy, Jack Gonan, Jamison Gibson Park, Ross Byrne, and Liam Turner. For the Sharks, Bongi Manambi, Thomas Satoy, Oxen Chair are the front row. Corne Roll, the youngster, gets an opportunity at number 4. Cabran Krobler at 5. Jay Spencer, Vincent Tuka, Siko Mose Noche are the loose trio. Grant Williams partners Buddha Chamberlain, and in the halfback period, Makazola Mapimpi, Morris Porkita, and the two wings. Bent Wire partners the Kanya Amu captains the side in the centres there. Upland Fassi at full back. Off the bench, it'll be Fez and Barty. Into Tukun, Unukali Sari, Jean-Ray Labaskakni, Pepsi Boutelezi, Cameron Wright, Navaldo Flares, the youngster, and Rowan Janssen van Rensburg. It's actually quite a good bench for the Sharks, I must say. I think they've had of all the things to be positive, I suppose it is not the worst bench to have. But the problem is for me, I don't think the starting lineup can really compete. It often comes down to the scrum battle, and I think the scrum battle will be an interesting one, because I think the tight 5 for the Sharks is lacking a bit of power in the engine room. I think, you know, Evan Etzebeth's going to be a big miss. Corne Roll, youngster, or an opportunity for him, but just hasn't really played a lot of rugby. Yeah, do come the Sharks playing in a white tonight. The Kanyam captaining the side. Right, here come Leinster. Not really running out with much vigor are the two teams at the moment. There's a social media chap with his gimbal, getting some last minute content. But last opportunity to vote in the poll. It's pretty neck and neck here. Jump in the comments as well. Let me know where you're watching from, who you're supporting. Do the Sharks have any chance? Is it going to be a walkover? What do we think? Andrew Brace Craig Evans, the man in the middle. Who, I tell you what, looks like someone, if someone were to give him a couple of words, he might be able to dish out a couple of punches there. I think he could hold his own in a fight, could Craig Evans. Right, so Sharks will be playing left to right. Leinster will be receiving kickoff. It's a very, very empty Aviva Stadium. And it's right, Kuyako kickoff. And it's only touched the ball. I think it was Jason Jenkins actually there. And it's a pretty good kick there from Luke McGrath. So we do have a kickoff, and looks like pretty good conditions. Looks like it's quite nice and sunny, nice and clear. So hopefully this will allow for some running rugby, and we can have some exciting tries and a high-scoring affair. Let's wait and see, shall we? I don't want to get too excited over nothing, but hopefully, as I said, I just want a good game. I want a game where one team is not running away with it. I want an upset on the cards at all times. That's kind of my little wish list for this game. All right, good line up there. Grant Williams got to put a Chamberlain. Big opportunity for him. And it's a good take from Hugo Keane, the high ball there. Walter chased by Morris Porkita. Oh my god. Now Harry Byrne lifts it high in the air. Pimpy is underneath it. Takes it well and gets away from one. I'll tell you what, you talk about if the Sharks are going to have a chance, you need your big players to stand up. He's been one of them, man. Buddha Chamberlain now back in the pocket. Goes to the end. Not too many chases as well. Mansport taking his time. Hugo Keenan takes it without too much opposition. Eventually brought down by James Fenter into the side. And they go to the left-hand side. Good hands. They can tie. All very, very good hands. And eventually, Kieran Frawley is brought down by the halfway line. Carry there coming from Michael Milner. Now nice and flat for Byrne. With good tackle coming. Nice, good line speed so far from the Sharks. But I mean, good skip and chase here. Jordan Lamore and the ball's popped up and it's fallen to Buddha Chamberlain. So knock on advantage. Inside ball to Ben Tapawai. You guys very direct. Pretty high intense start there so far. Grant Williams going to corner roll, the youngster. Now imagine making your URC debut against Leinster in the URC quarterfinals. What a moment for the youngster. Right, Grant Williams. His first box kick of the day. Lifts it high in the air. Michael Zulma Pimpy is going to give chase and try and put Hugo Keenan under a bit of pressure. It's not Keenan in the end, actually. That's Dave Kearney does quite well to take it. Caden Doris brought down by Oxenchair and Bongi Manambi. Luke McGrath now. Harry Byrne pretty flat. To Dan Sheehan. Oh, they've got numbers. It goes out towards Frawley. Miles Porky has to get across to the side. Makes a good tackle and it will be into touch. So it's a very good covering tackle there from the wing. There was a bit of space down the left-hand side. And Frawley saw some green grass ahead of him. And Miles Porky are doing well to get across the side and make the tackle. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if Jordan Lamore had almost a regather, that could have been interesting. The poll is still running, so please do go and vote in. Let me know who you back to win. Bongi Manambi going to go to corner roll at the front of the line. Good take for the youngster, but the ball's now gone down. Speaking of gone down, there goes my electricity. He's still going at corner roll. There was a knock on, but I think so. I think it will be a Leinster scrum. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think that is knocked down, you know. As Bongi Manambi, I think, has got a point there. I think it's knocked down, but I don't know if it's Tyke Furlong. Well, pack weights, Leinster 907, Sharks 880, and Tyke Furlong, I think he can't do quite a lot of that. Jason Jenkins also quite large in that second row. The crowd is pretty empty. They're only on the lower tier, so pretty small crowd. Pretty disappointing in many ways. And interested to see if they're at the Aviva, not the RDS. And a reset here. I think the scrum's going to be an interesting battle. It could be one of the few battles just a bit more, a bit closer than the rest. Right, so Leinster got pretty much the full width of the field towards the right-hand side to work with. And a penalty for the Sharks. Well, that's a nice moment for them. It went down, and I think it's on Oxen Chair's side, so that'll be against Tyke Furlong. So that'll be a nice moment for him. No, I think it's against Michael Milner. Well, there you have it. Apparently Bruce Springsteen's playing over there. So fair enough, really. You know, White coming singing. Oh, and the ball's gone loose there. Pops it up towards the Kanya. So Schalk still with possession. Go to Thomas Toy to Buddha Chamberlain to Cabran Krobler. He's going to have to put in a big shift there. And he pops the ball off the ground there to Vincent Stuka. Also somebody who needs to really step up today. Grant Williams going on the left-hand side. He's got a corner roll to Mars Portkita. He's gone away with one and made a couple of yards. Yeah, good carry from Mars Portkita. Grant Williams off the ball. Oh, Grant Williams straight through. He needs support. Or does he? Or does he? No, he doesn't. He's got the pace. Grant Williams over in the corner. Do not blink when this man has got the ball. Do not give him half a gap. Do not give him anything. Grant Williams, give him an inch. He'll take a mile. And he's gone straight through. He's rounded. I think it was Dave Carney in the end there. Look at this though from Grant Williams. He goes, he's bang straight through Tyke Furlong and Maxi, and then he just circles around. How good is that? How easy is that? Grant Williams. Well, here we go. Bit of drama. Sharks score first. Look at the pace. I mean, that's Dave Kearney that he's rounded. He's got nowhere near him. Grant Williams must be one of the most deceptively quick players in the world and one of the quickest players. He is absolutely electric with ball in hand. Goodness me. Well. I'm going to end the poll there, by the way, before everybody starts changing their votes based on that. 51% people are saying Leinster will win. I'm surprised that close, to be honest. Buddha Chamberlain has pulled that conversion, so it'll be 5-0. Good start, though, for the Sharks. Grant Williams continues that impressive form he's gotten himself into. And he's just straight through the gap. He's got Bongi Manambi and he goes, I'm not going to need Bongi. I'm just going to go around the corner here. Look how easy it is for him as well. Can't give him any space. Cannot give him any space. Could you imagine? Dare to dream. Speak of it, man. Grant Williams underneath the kickoff there. And finally a good touch towards the halfway line as well. That'll be about the 10-meter line, I reckon. Well, good start from the number 9, who's busy trying to get himself into those Rugby World Cup conversation. That's a pretty good way to do it. I'm actually going to open a beer in honor of him. Do I lie? Oh, ain't a good sound there. No, here we go. Harry Byrne. Oh, it's interception though from Buddha Chamberlain. James Fenter now going to Mars Portkita going to the boot. But pretty well read. And it's hammered back. I think it's McGrath who will find touch. Very, very good work there. But an interception from Buddha Chamberlain. Almost, dare I say it, a bit of a nervy start here for Leinster. A couple of mistakes. Sharks look quite sharp so far. So good signs for them. As I said, we mentioned it earlier, they look like the line speed is looking really good for the Sharks. Right, so was Noche. That's exactly the type of pace you want to see him running. It's a good carry from him. Bit of space there at the back of the line. Now Grant Williams just chip over the top there. Minus Portkita and it bounced pretty high. Minus Portkita, the ball's coming loose. And it's fallen to Grant Williams actually. So that played fancy rather, but I think it's a knock-on coming from Minus Portkita. Fancy the right. Well, good to see him back in the oop, there goes the bottle cap. Albert says the plum tree already having an impact. Yeah, I imagine the plum tree effect. Gary Smith saying an offside question. Any idea why the Lions fared so badly this season? It's just the depth thing at the end of the day. We don't have depth. We've got a decent 15, not terrible bench. So we've got 23 reasonable players, but as soon as the injuries start creeping in, we just don't have the depth. So we played our players into the ground, unfortunately. I think some of them failed, so struggled to keep up the intensity the entire season. Yeah, we just don't have enough players really to sustain a season. Knockout competition, maybe Champions Challenge Cup could be interesting next season. You can try to target it almost, but the URC to try and compete over those 18 rounds is difficult. All right, so it'll be a scrum here. First scrum was a Sharks penalty. So it's a pretty good baseball penalty as well, right in front of the poles. But it is a Leinster feed. So Michael Milner was the one being put under pressure by Thomas Toy in the first scrum. Right, down the right-hand side. Mars Portkita has let it. That's dreadful. That is absolutely dreadful for Mars Portkita. It was absolutely no man's land. It's a good kick from Crawley, but Mars Portkita's gotten that really wrong. I don't know if he lost it in the sun here. He saw the space. He hammered towards the left. Mars Portkita was underneath, and then he just wasn't. And he left to go. I don't know if he thought he was close to the touchline, but that's pretty poor from him in the end. It is, however, Sharks line out. And Thomas DeToy has done very, very well to grab that. As Otto went straight through the hands of corner roll, as well as the competing jumper. So Sharks with possession. Now Grant Williams. Mars Portkita is going to give chase. Pentap Hawaii as well, getting around there. And Dave Carney underneath it. He's gone straight through. He's gone straight through as Dave Carney. Upper left fast, he comes across and makes the tackle, but let's up towards the 22. Lukanya Ahmed going very quickly. It's an important intervention as well. Didn't get any option to go wide. Should allowed some of the Sharks players to get back. Good tackle coming from Vincent Stuka. Lukanya Ahmed trying to get over that ball. First real chance here for Leinster. Strong carry coming from Ryan Beard. Into 22 goes Caelan Doris. Advantage but not rolling away. Now ball over the top. It's a Caelan Doris. No, it's not Caelan Doris. I apologize. The looks been forward. It was Max Deegan actually who ball came back to. They go back for the penalty. Interesting to see what Leinster will do here. It's right in front of the poles. Player of rugby. Right, it's interesting to see what are they going to do. Are they going to take the points? They're going to go for the corner. Looks like they're going to go for the corner. Yeah, Dan Sheehan's already running to the right hand side there to get ready to feed the ball to the line. Yeah, it's just a poor tackle by Tiki Bozanochi. Couldn't really get a good grip of them because Ty Furlong and the assistant, the carrier, Vincent took go over the ball. He had life to play, but Cabran Cobbler had to roll away, and Vincent took a try and go for it, kind of pinned Cabran Cobbler in it. But very quickly though, Caelan Doris, well, he got very high penalty. There's his try. I think he scored it. Well, that was far, far too easy. Michael Zulma Pimpy, that is an absolutely dreadful attempt at a tackle. Well, Leicester have hit back, and it's right by the pole as well. Caelan Doris in that sort of situation, you're always going to back him, but that's a pretty poor effort from Michael Pimpy. He just went so high. I don't understand. He never had a chance of stopping him. Yeah, and he just places it and goes. But I mean, Maximum Pimpy, he's so high. Yeah. He goes so high. His head's in the wrong place. It's a dreadful tackle technique, and he gets bumped off the ball far too easy by Caelan Doris. Yeah, I mean, I have a review here from Pimpy as well, so he could be in further trouble. Right, let's see, where's the contact? Now, I think he's going to be all right here. It is terrible tackle technique, though. Right, here's the angle. Ooh, I tell you what. It's interesting, because from every angle, it looks a little bit different. Yeah, he hits him she would have hit him over here. So I'm interested to see what the decision is going to be here. Yeah, so they say it's not direct head contact. He says he hits the ball and then that pushes him up, which I think could actually be a bit generous, to be honest. Yeah, yellow card. There he goes. Apologise to the teammates, but that's exactly what you don't need after a good start. Mapimpi into the bin. Yeah, I mean, the tackle technique was dreadful. He was in all the wrong positions there, and he first of all got run over. Second of all, he's got a yellow card. Sharks after the terrific start are probably going to be 2 points down here. It's a pretty straightforward kick attempt here for Harry Byrne, and down to 14 men for the next 10 minutes. Yeah, no issues there from Harry Byrne, as kind of expected. Right, deep restart there. Good take. Once again out the air from... hang on, I've lost all my flipping things here. Good take there from Rybard. So came from Oxen Chair. Leinster deep inside their own half. Just inside 22. So McGrath's going to look to go to the boot chair, but can't go into touch. Fassi under the high ball. Good take from him. They tried to hold him up, but he got down to ground, and a couple of players around there to secure that ball. Now Hobler. Now Grant Williams going to return the favour. This is now about managing the next 10 minutes, isn't it, for the Sharks? Down to 14 men, which is not ideal. Just don't concede any points, really. I suppose is the best result. Maybe see if you can try to find a penalty in a kickable position, run the clock down a bit, try and take 3 points. Good tackle coming from corner roll. The debutant. And so still deep inside their own half, so this is kind of where the Sharks would like to keep them. McGrath running it back. Now goes to the boot. Fassi right up against the touchline. And have a bit more time here. And he goes to Buddha Chamberlain. Buddha Chamberlain steps inside. Good tackle coming on him from Max Deegan. Grant Williams going to Bongi Manambi. Top dog, Bongi. Now back to Fassi in the pocket. Fassi with that left boot. Spots a bit of space down that right-hand side. Trying to turn Harry Byrne. Byrne returns the favour. Looking for touch, but won't find. I believe Fassi just on the inside right-hand side. He's going to lift it high for himself to chase. It's gone a little bit further infield than he would have liked. He's hammered Luke McGrath in the tackle, though. Good tackle there. Now Ben Tapawai is coming in, but well secured by Leinster. Milner's going, a little bit of almost a bit of a goose step here from the loose head. Now Byrne. Once again going to the boot. Seems to be quite a commentator. This is right against the touchline, though. Portkita, it's come off Portkita and gone out. He's not been good under the high ball so far as the wing. I think it does come off of Minus Portkita. They're having a look at it, here. Bit of a break in play. A couple of players receiving some attention. Yeah, that's right. So what do we think of that? We've had 17 minutes and it's flown by. So it's been a pretty good. Haven't had too many stoppages, which is quite nice. It's flowed quite nicely. I mean, we're 20 minutes in. We've had almost 18 minutes. So at least the pace of play has been pretty good. But Jordan Lamar is getting some attention. Doesn't look particularly happy. Buddha Chamberlain, now this is the worst possible result for the Sharks. In terms of the players they cannot afford to lose, he has won Curran Bosch out. Buddha Chamberlain, they're having to been drafted into flower half. He hasn't played in quite a while, basically since Curran Bosch returned. And the other option is 23-year-old Navaldo Fleers, who is, I don't even think he's actually, I think he's maybe played one or two games in the URC. former Marty's fly half. A very exciting player, but not played a lot of rugby at this level. Right, so 17 minutes 47. What are we saying here? Gerard's saying keep them under pressure, and we are saying all good. We play away. Yeah. Neil Powell watching on. This could very well be his last game in charge before Plumtree takes over. They go to the front of the line there once we bench again. So Max Deegan goes up and comes down with it. Once again, good line speed from the Sharks. Oxen chairs over that ball. Oh, and that's a penalty for not releasing. It was Bongi Manambi, actually. He's saying he wasn't even part of the tackle. Have to look at the replay there. Craig Evans saying otherwise. But the line speed's been pretty good from the Sharks on a defensive point of view. So putting Leinster under the pressure, not allowing them any time to try and find those offloads that they have become known for. It's a good line out and a pretty strong line being run there by Nagatai. Penalty advantage as well, I think, for offside. Keenan coming inside, wrapped up by Norche. And then Nakanya still the penalty advantage. Chipping behind, and it's going to run dead. So they'll go back for the penalty. Number one, offside is the call. Calls come from the assistant. Right, so they kick to the corner here, do Leinster, looking for another try here. Harry Byrne, deputising for his brother. Ross Byrne, we'll see a bit later. Ross Byrne, a couple of big months ahead of him. At this stage, the second choice option for Ireland, going into the World Cup at fly half. Right, they haven't got set more here. Looks pretty good, though, for the Sharks. And I think it's a corner roll. He's just trying to get through the middle. And I think he has gotten hands on the ball. Bongi Manambi's not gotten over. Big counter-attack. James Spencer's turned that ball over. Penalty, though. And I think it's against Thomas Totoy for... collapsing the more. It's against 5 and 2. So it's another penalty. Yeah, tap and go. This time Dan Sheehan. It's got Max Deegan next to him. Sheehan goes himself. Now around the top goes Caelan Doris. Big tackle coming on him. Back inside. It's a good defense of the Sharks, but it's right on the brink here. Tyke Furlong, I think it is. And try. No, I think it's Michael Milner. Big Michael Milner. Thomas Totoy doesn't look particularly happy either. Right, try number 2. As I said, the worst possible thing when you're down to 14 men. Worrying signs this for Sharks, who at the moment are being a bit bullied when it comes to the forwards battle. Jason Jenkins is a solid carry there. Yeah, it is Milner. Pick up and go over the big prop. He had Max Deegan behind him. Tyke Furlong adding his extra weight as well. Tell you what, from that angle, you actually don't see any grounding. So the referee saw it. He was closer to the prop. As I said, the bad news is that Thomas Totoy has stayed down. He doesn't look particularly happy. They've got a very able replacement in Carly Sardi off the bench, but you don't want to see, Thomas Totoy being replaced after 21 minutes. Harry Byrne with the conversion. That's looking pretty good. It's going to go straight down the middle. Right, 2 from 2 from him. 14 points to 5 after 22 minutes. Yeah, I think Thomas Toy might be replaced here. It almost looks like he could have a bit of a shoulder dislocation. It looks like they're getting ready to pop it back into place, which is not ideal. Now would have changed to go down the left hand side. Almost a bit of a juggle there from Caelan Joyce. Big kid as well, came from an Oxen chair. Right, they're looking to run another 22. Kieran Foley's got a space ahead of him. Grant Williams is trying to reel him in. Grant Williams does reel him in. Quick ball here from McGrath. Oxenchair up quickly, making a good hit on Jason Jenkins. Well, at least someone's really come out to play. Harry Byrne caught it, and Vincent Tuka trying to get over that ball. Now they're going on the short side. Bit of space. Hugo Keenan's gone straight through. That's fascinating, Fussy. That's dreadful. Thankfully, Grant Williams has made the tackle, but Fussy's been bounced off. He cannot be bounced off by Hugo Keenan. Come on. Now kick over the top. Upper left Fussy has identified the space. That is so easy. Where's the wing? I'll tell you where he is. He's on the pine. Mapimpi, the yellow card, all the space out there, and that's try number 3 for Leinster. What I said we didn't want to see happen could very well be happening, and you can just see there's just so many overlaps. Grant Williams does really well here. He makes that tackle, but this for me is an absolutely appalling effort from upper left fast. Hugo Keenan makes the break. He's not the biggest lad, and that's just come on, man. You cannot. I mean, that's such an average tackle attempt. No, man. And then there's so much space down the left-hand side with there being no wing. All the time in the world is Jordan Lamar. Right, that's trouble time. Trouble city here for the Sharks. 19 points to 5. Kick to come from Harry Byrne. Still down to 14 men. And go to Ulster. To Leinster. I called Ulster Leinster the entire night last night. Now I'm calling Leinster Ulster. Can't get it right, can I? It's looking pretty good as well from Harry Byrne. That's 3 from 3. I tell you what, he's going to kick like this. They can be under even more pressure. 21 points to 5 in 25 minutes. Yep, Leinster looking good. Right, deep restart once again. Carly Sarri's on for Thomas Toy, so not able to sort that out. A good replacement to have, but not. You don't want to be replacing him this early. You want to be bringing him as an impact player. Well, big mistake there from Leinster, and there has been knock on. And Carly Sarri, the fridge, my boy, is going to have an early opportunity to show people what he's made of. The largest thighs in rugby, and don't Vilko low me. Look at the size of the. Oh my goodness. Those thighs from Carly Sarri, they're huge. What if he has to insure them? And what do you get for them? Car insurance, truck insurance, house insurance? Right, big opportunity this for the Sharks. They've got to try and hit back and get into the game. Pimpi's back on the field, so at least it's 15 on 15 again. The damage, however, has been done. Carly Sarri, look at Carly Sarri. What did I say? Penalty advantage for the Sharks. Grant Williams wants to use it. Goes to Ben Tapawai. Goes to Buddha Chamberlain. Goes to Mapimpi to Fussy. Carly Sarri. What did I say, boys? Carly Sarri is just, he's just, this is what he does. He scrums. Right, they go to the 5-meter line. Can the Sharks hit back? Come on, man. Make this interesting. Right, pretty good line up there. Now Bongi Manambi waiting for the ball to make its way towards the back. It's pretty well set here from the Sharks, so not making too much progress though. And wherever the ball is, James Fender's got it. It's going to go back to Bongi Manambi. Might have to break away from this. And a bit of pressure there is Bongi. Pick up and go from Sigurd Noche. That's intelligent from him. So under a bit of pressure there. Carly Sadi, first carry of the day. Vincent Chatuka, the former Lions lads. Speaking of former Lions lads, James Fenter. And he's crawled. That's so stupid, James Fenter. Come on, man. That's just dumb. Dear. Poor from James Fenter. A couple of decent phases and then you go and do that. Musavar saying, Carly Sadi's calf is bigger than Steven's upper body. He's pretty impressive, actually, because this is quite a rig over here. Cathal saying, the Sharks' defensive game plan just to rely on forcing Leinster to make mistaken defense and attack. In for a long day, the opposite, that's the case. I think the defensive game plan is to just get up nice and quickly and don't allow the Leinster any time on the ball, which is not a bad decision. The problem is it does create gaps. So you've got to make sure that you come up very well and together. Right, deep kicking behind. Makazuma Pimpy's got up in the Fassi for company. Fassi's probably going to look for a bit of space here. Goes down the left-hand side there. Pretty actually central. Harry Byrne underneath it. I lie. It's, yeah, it's Harry Byrne. And it's a pretty big hit on him from Cabrera Cobbler. Now they go to the right-hand side. Vince took it up quickly. And Malcolm almost steps inside him. And Grant Williams, he is the smallest man on the pitch for quite a while. He's having to do a lot of defensive work. Now ball over the top towards Applet Fassi. Plenty of time. Oh dear, that's gone on the left-hand side. Bounce towards the right. Now Hugo Keenan down the left. He kicks it left. Put a Chamberlain on the bounce. Keep it pretty low as well. So we've got a bit of a ping pong battle at the moment. Now Corey, there's a chip and chase from him. And it's bounced over him, but bounced to the hands. And it's Scott Penny there. Now he gets the offload away to Ryan Bard. Well, Caelan Doris is still going. That's a great carry from him. Good work this from Leinster. And Guitar, the ball's kind of loose there. I think surely he's going to yeah, the knock-on does come, so it'll be a scrum there. Got a bit messy in the last few minutes. Right, 10 minutes to go before half-time. For me, if the Sharks don't have any chance, they've got to score a try before half-time. Right, one of the Sharks players down here. I think it's Oxton Chair. Racheko Baditswe. What a cool name that is. Feel sorry for him in primary school having to write it out, but apart from that, I suppose it kind of it's a 6 1 half dozen the other because he also only had to write in Chair for his surname, so that was pretty straightforward. However, when it comes to right children, we're going to learn how to write your name, and you're going, "What's your name?" and you're saying Racheko Baditswe. I mean, jeepers, what letters of the alphabet aren't you using in that? Having a bit of a team conference there on Leinster, just having a bit of a chat, and I'm sure the conversation will just to be stay calm, stick to the structures, the tries, and the points will come. 21 points to 5, so 16-point lead at the moment. If Sharks can score a try and bring that down, can try and start to make a match out of it, but at the moment it's pretty one-way traffic. Right, so Schalk scrum. Deep inside their own half on the left-hand side. Go out with the ball in hand. Try score already. Another reset here as the clock does tick down to 8 minutes towards half time. That's a big scrum. That's a big scrum. Carly Sardi. That's a reset. Yeah, look, and this is going to be a big. The scrum battle is a big thing. If you start winning the scrum battle, which Carly Sardi will do, he's an absolute goat of scrummaging. Yeah, penalty coming for the Sharks once again. Carly Sardi is doing the Lord's work in that scrum. Goodness me, Mr. Thighs himself. And that's a nice place to be in, where you can just keep winning your penalties. Yeah, big penalty coming there. Right, 6 minutes to go. Can they find a tribe for? There's no one in there, is there? I mean, what's the crowd? 3,000 people? There's more media people than anybody else here. Corner roll. Good pass there. It was a good tackle, actually, by Pimpy. But so Sharks slow ball here for Grant Williams, about the halfway line, going to the right hand side. Corner roll. I'll tell you what, he's been involved a lot here, the young lock. Brand Crobler now back on the inside, gets past one, brought down by Scott Penny. Williams, 2 corner roll once again. He pops it up to Buddha Chamberlain fires out to Pimpy. He goes backwards off him, and James Pett has to do a bit of good work off the ground. Williams now to Oxen Chair. Not much imagination right now in the Sharks attack. And as a result, Grant Williams is going to go to the boot. Yep, goes high in the air. Pimpy is chasing. Oh, he takes it brilliantly, does Michael Zolma Pimpy. Just shy of the 22 here. Grant Williams trying to get a quick ball. Corner roll. I'll tell you what, the youngster, he's going to get into the 22 as well, but have they held him up? They have held him up, unfortunately. And that's going to be a turnover ball. You know, he's tried very hard as the youngster, but he's run into Jason Jenkins, who has basically given him a bit of a lesson about who's in charge. And unfortunately, it is not the youngster who won that encounter. Great take this from a Pimpy, though. Yeah. Jordan Alman absolutely nowhere there, really. Pimpy doing very well. Corner roll just going a little bit too high. Jenkins getting... I mean, he's around the neck. I tell you what, though. I tell you what. It's difficult to understand. I mean, if that was a tackle, that would have been a seatbelt tackle. good news for Sharks fans. They're currently beating the Bulls in the Currie Cup. I've just checked them, but you want to look at some of the stats here. Pretty even from a potential point of view. But I think it's going to be a penalty, actually. What did I say? I did say that I think it looked a bit high, and it's going to be a penalty right in front of the poles. And tell you what, if I'm the Sharks, I would take a scrum. Yeah, that's what I said. High tackle as well. Fair enough. At least they went and looked at it and they gave it. Definitely looked pretty high to me. You have to go for the corner here. They're lining up for a scrum. Pretty cool to see a Shark scrum with 2 Islander starters putting in the business. But I mean, it's Carly Sardi versus Malcolm Mulder, which is the big battle that's been won here by the Sharks. And of course, Carly Sardi for me is an international quality scrummager. I think there are very few loose heads who could actually cope with him. Which sounds quite bold, but I genuinely believe it. Right, Scott Penny's going off. Jack Conan's coming on. And I'll tell you what, I think this is tactical there. He's not. I don't know if he's going to go down the tunnel here. So Jack Conan's been put on. Kalen Doris is going to go to the flank here. And you wonder if that's maybe a tactical substitution to try and help the scrum a little bit. So Scott Penny's in an early replacement here. That's early pushing from the Leinster. You're going to have to reset here. Yeah. Malcolm Milner's pretty rattled. He's pretty rattled. Jonathan saying parents to HIA. Well, there we go. That sort of makes more sense. I can't really hear the commentary at the moment, so that would make sense. So Jack Conan's at the park at the moment. Right, 2 minutes to go. Can the Sharks find a try before half time? Get themselves up to 12 points. 9 points behind. It's a very different game to 16. Oh, free kick. That's not gone well. Not gone well. I must admit, the more I look at it, the more I'm not convinced about the call to have the scrum. It's not like it was in the 5 meter. By all means, take the scrum. You're in penalty try zone with the way you've been dominating. But they're by the age of the 22. So for me, kick that to the corner. Get yourself close. If you go to the corner and you get a penalty there, then take the scrum on the 5 meter line. But if you got, you get a good scrum and you get another penalty. So what? You're in the same position. You haven't really progressed. And then what? You're gonna go to the corner anyway. So it's a bit of a strange decision of that one for me. It is a free kick though, so it'll still be a Sharks put into the line out with 2 minutes to go. Bongi Manambi with ball in hand. Ben Tapawai, good carry from him. Grant Williams, Bongi Manambi around the corner. That's more where you want to see him running. Ben Tapawai, inside ball to the Kanya Army, which was very well read by Kalen Doris. Sorry, it's Max Deegan, actually. Vince Tuka. Wrapped up in the tackle. Grant Williams going down the short side there. Put a chain and Tuka wasn't sure. I don't think he was really expecting it. It does make a meter or two, though. Grant Williams now back to Tuka. Haven't quite seen the Lions version of him yet this season. He's been getting a lot better, but hasn't, I think, quite settled in as quickly as you would have liked. Good hands. Good hands. Good hands. James Fender down the short side. Comes inside. Gets away from one. Runs into another. That's a really good carry from him as well. Much better this than the Sharks. Grant Williams. Oh, Colin Sorry with a run-up. Things you'll love to see. Grant Williams now to update fast. They've got numbers, Fussy. Why would you do that? There's so many numbers on the left-hand side there. Now back to Carly Sardi. Now they do go to the left-hand side for Brent Cobbler. And McGraw kind of just brings him down. Penalty. There we go. Now go to the corner here, chaps. Go to the corner. Stop macking around and go to the corner. Score more try, get yourself a bit closer, reset, go to the second half. It's not rocket science here, people. Not rocket science. They're taking the points. No ways. Chat, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. You're 16 points behind. 16 and 13, when you're not really looked like you're going to score tries, it's probably not the right time to be taking 3 points. I appreciate you struggling to score. This is the wrong call. This is the wrong call. I mean, yeah, cool. 2 converted tries, but they haven't looked like scoring tries. And 16 points is a lot of points to tick off penalty by penalty. Especially when you missed it. Well, then you deserve it. Then you deserve it. That's so dumb. That is so stupid. For me, you go to the corner, you have a go. What happens? You don't score. Guess what? The same result. It wasn't like it was guaranteed points there. Right, well, there we go. Sharks down 16 points. Missing 3 points right on the brink of half time. So there could be 21 points to 8, which I don't think is much different. 20 points to 5. Strange decision. And, yeah, it didn't go well for them either. So, yeah, we will see how they can come back after half time. But at this stage, not looking particularly good for them. And we have to wait and see exactly how they manage in the second half. We'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hello everybody and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Leinster versus Schalk this weekend. It is the third quarterfinal of the URC. It'll take place just after the Bulls versus the Stormers game. And so we will wait and see which South African team could be joined by the Sharks if they were to go and pull off what I'm branding Mission Impossible, to go over and beat Leinster in Ireland. But I'll tell you what, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So the Sharks will have to beat the best if they are to try and progress this weekend. Now, the more important thing is how can you watch all the action right now? There's a very, very simple way, and that is if you are in the UK or Ireland, you can watch the entire thing on a free-to-air broadcaster because it is being shown on RTE2. If you are outside the UK or Ireland, though, you can still watch the action all live, and that is through the use of a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, link down in the description, and we've got a step-by-step guide on how to watch all the action. So, yeah, first things first, you want to get yourself ExpressVPN, and go and download and install it. This is what it looks like. I recommend getting a 12-month subscription because you get an extra 3 months free, and you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free, as well as watching certain Rugby Championship games, as well as lots of different sport as well, which we'll do videos on every single week. So make sure you go and download it, and you can connect to either an Ireland or a UK server. Both should work. And because I'm connected over there, I'm currently watching RTE2 now. My screen capture won't show the actual action, but I can unmute and you can hear there's currently an advert going on. But so you can probably hear, as you can see, it's playing there. As soon as I press pause, it'll stop and stuff. So you can't see the action because it won't capture the sound, I mean the video, but you can hear from the sound that it is currently working. Now you can use this method as well to watch Glasgow versus Munster. You can also watch Bulls versus Stormers, as well as Ulster versus Connacht on a free-to-air broadcast. Those ones are being shown on TG4. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Apart from that, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Right, and we are live. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rugby Fan Forum after our week sabbatical, because Stephen went away and basically lived in the Stone Ages where the upload speed that we had on our Wi-Fi was 0.2 megabytes per second, guys. That's how much of in the sticks I was a week ago. So Fan Forum is unfortunately never going to happen, and that is also why, as you guys probably guessed, there were no Watchalong stuff like that. But I'm back in the land of the land of the infrastructure for another, what have we got here? Reason about 1 hour, then our power goes off for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, correctly so.
But I'm joined by Reza and Chris. Chat's very well.
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, can't complain. It was a very peaceful week, mainly due to the fact that Steve is in the bush, well, under the bush and on the coast with no Wi-Fi. But good to be back. Let's talk some rugby.
Yeah, fair enough. Much bit tired, to be honest. Like, it just just can the entire whole digital media thing. Go back to I'll go produce a daily paper. Go back to my roots and get typewriter out, because that's kind of where they are down there. But anyway, let's soldier on. We've got a lot to talk about. We have got a European Champions Cup final that has been confirmed. We saw Leinster and La Rochelle demonstrate why they are probably the two best sides in Europe right now. And it's quite cool, actually, because I think often we get to like a European final and you sometimes think, are these two the best teams though? Has a team just gone on a bit of a run? Has a team gotten lucky here and there? Whereas I think you watch those semi-finals, you look at these two teams, you look at the last couple of years, and you think these probably are the two best teams, which is very cool. We're talking a little bit about the Currie Cup, which is going to be get quite interesting over the next couple of weeks. And the big thing we're talking about is the URC quarterfinals, which begin tomorrow night, actually. And just over 24 hours, when Andreas Miller will be running out with Ulster, trying to take on Connacht. Then we've got the Stormers versus Bulls on Saturday. We've got Leinster versus Sharks, RIP Sharks, and then we've got Munster versus Glasgow to wrap up the weekend. So, without any further ado, chaps, should we just talk about a little bit about last weekend? And I think, Chris, you probably watched it more than maybe we did. I was struggling a bit down there trying to watch it, so I've watched catch up. But Leinster demolishing Toulouse, La Rochelle then doing a similar job to Exeter. Are these two the best teams in Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. I did manage to catch both those games. Really, really good games. Yeah, absolutely. They are by far the two best teams in the competition. I think there was a lot of talk of Toulouse giving Leinster a bit of a game, running them much closer. I heard some whisperings that they might even win, but I didn't think so. In the tip-in show last week, I had Leinster -8 on the handicap, quite strong. I just think Leinster just got too much motivation this year, and the momentum and the form of the Irish is just too strong. And then you look at Toulouse, they got the players, but as I was worrying about, they're not nearly as physical as like La Rochelle are, and their discipline is not good. And Leinster just ate them, took them to the cleaners, and then the ref got onto their side. So they ran away with it quite easily. And in that La Rochelle power, I think Exeter were always going to run out of juice. They've had they've had a few big games leading up to that. And La Rochelle at home in Europe is just like insane. Like a lot of those French sides at home are there's that atmosphere and they just get themselves up. But there you are, they blew Exeter off the park. So yeah, in the repeats of last year's final, I don't we're going to preview the game, but I'm going to stick my neck out. If La Rochelle do what they do best, it's going to be a repeat of last year's result probably.
That's a big shot. That's a big shot. That's what we're here for.
No, that's an honest, genuine. I think if La Rochelle do what they do best and on the day do it right, Leinster are going to have a big game on their hand, and I don't know if they will be able to actually live with La Rochelle. Not many teams can when they're like at that, when they're playing like that. But it's safe for Leinster. But I think La Rochelle are just a little bit more physical, more clinical in the physical exchanges. But look, maybe Leinster have learned, and maybe they get their revenge.
Chris, is that your heart or your money talking there?
Yeah, but in 2 weeks' time, you can have to put his money where his mouth is.
Well, we will see. That's exactly it. This is just a sneak preview, but we still got some build-up to look into. So I'll obviously put the money down when next week's show for sure. Next before the final.
That sounds like an easy out to me, but you heard it. Tune in next week.
My first call is La Rochelle by 2. Another humdinger.
Wow. So if I were to go, so if you put money on right now, you put in the La Rochelle win, eh?
Yeah. The thing is, it's in Dublin, right?
Yeah, it's in the Viva Stadium. So that does for me. That's why I think that that
would probably be the swinger, because I mean La Rochelle in the previous final as well, right? No, that was Exeter and Raston, I think it was, and then they played Toulouse and La Rochelle. They lost, but La Rochelle lost because they played Botica when you're still a centre, but he hadn't played in 2 months. They should have actually beaten Toulouse in that final as well. So, so it's the final we want in Dublin. It's perfect. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, look, I mean, La Rochelle have been getting progressively better and better. I mean, this is their third final in a row. For Leinster, it's their second final.
It is the third. Yeah, I think I missed. Yeah, I got wrong with finals, but yeah, that's right, Steve.
Yeah, they lost to Toulouse in 3-1. They beat Leinster last year. Now, can they do the double over Leinster this year? Last year was in Marseille. The year before that was in Twickenham, so neutral ground. And this it will be in Dublin. Now, on that point, I want to talk a bit about this, because next year the game is at the two finals, the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup, are at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, how's that for a choice of venue?
Yeah. I don't really get that at all. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think if you're trying to promote rugby, why the hell would you go over to that stadium? There's so many classy stadiums, especially in Europe, that deserve a lot of attention, and rugby stadiums. And I just don't really get it. I know it's brand new and it's been recently revamped and it's really, really nice, and obviously it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think more to the point.
Yeah, but it's a football stadium, man.
Look, hey, they have NFL there. You can the whole thing. Look, it looks like an absolute. It looks like a phenomenal stadium. I reckon it's on my bucket list to go check, because it just looks like one of those modern stadiums. It's just absolutely incredible. But
that's the case. But I think Twickenham's the home of rugby. I mean, that's if you're going to play it in England, that's where you got to play it.
Well, see, the problem is, the problem is this is the problem. Of the last 6 finals, 4 of them have been in England.
Yeah,
and that's where the problem is. You've had St. Park, Newcastle, Ashton Gate, Bristol, Twickenham in London, and now Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Do you have any insight as to how they go about selecting venues?
No.
I would have thought that as obviously a multi-country tournament, that very simple thing to do would be like, well, we're going to rotate it amongst each country each time.
Not hard.
This is not complicated, you know. And what to me, what that says is that England have a bigger stake in this competition, or let's say influence, than perhaps we realize on the outside, and that's what it says to me.
Look, traditionally, because traditionally, I mean, if we go back and look at the early 2000s, for example, if we look at, say, from 2000, it went London, Paris, Cardiff, Dublin, London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, London, Cardiff, Edinburgh, St. Denis, Cardiff. So you could see it. I mean, there was no back-to-back hostings. There was generally 2 or 3 finals in between going back to the countries. But since 2015, it's gone England, France, Scotland, Spain at one in Bilbao, then England, Marseille in France, Dublin, and then back to England. So, I mean, you must be sitting there as a Scottish... Yeah.
Wasn't there was one in Edinburgh, wasn't there? Because I was at it. Saracens versus Clermont.
Yeah, was it 2017?
I'm sure I was at that game.
Right, and the players are coming back, and we are just moments away from the second half. Leinster currently beating Sharks 21 points to 5. And interesting to see what they can pull out in the second half. They're going to need to start well at the end of the day. That's the main thing, I think, for them at the moment. Very much, just not... coping, but it's not being clinical enough. You know, they've had opportunities. You know, you'd be wrong to say they're not at their chances. End of the half, they had 2 penalties. One, they decided to take a scrum and they lost it. The other one, they took the 3 points and pulled it left. So, you know, you convert those opportunities to tries, at least one of them, for example, and all of a sudden you'll be running back on, instead of being 16 points behind, you know, you could be 9 points behind. And that's quite a big difference. So, they're not out of it yet. But they've got to score first. You know, they've got to make sure they get themselves back in this game. They do have a decent bench, and not that Leinster's bench is bad. It's in fact pretty brilliant, with the likes of Gibson Park, Ross Byrne, Cian Healy, Andrew Porter all being able to come on. But if the Sharks can get a bit of momentum, their only chance is they've got to try and get themselves within touching distance and hope for a couple of good cameos. I think the game management needs to be a bit better. Up there fast. It's a really nice kick from him. More moments like that. Yeah, that's a really good kick from Abdullah Fassi, who had a really dreadful tackle attempt earlier. So he needs to try and... I think, to be fair, I think all Springboks players get like little scorecards, and they get showed like little road maps, they call them, about where they need to improve, and he was obviously part of the block, and I'm pretty sure they were sent back and just told, just learn how to tackle, mate. Right, Jack Conan, first carrier of the day, on for Scott Penny. Still on for Scott Penny, went out for an HIA, but the fact that he's re-emerged means one imagines Scott Penny is off for the game. Good attacking defence there from Oxen Chair, and Leinster get themselves just onto the halfway line. Good rush defence once again. I think it was a notch attacking Jason Jenkins behind the gain line. Now Luke McGrath going to the boot. Mapimpi underneath it. And a bit of pressures from Lama. But well kept. Right, now Grant Williams goes for the boot. It's high in the air. Passy is chasing. A lot of traffic to try and get through. Hugo Keane does take it unopposed because of all the traffic. You see the half gap. It's a great tackle on the end by Pentapawai. He had to make it. Now there's a lot of gaps open. Inside ball. Good tackle coming from James Fenter. Once again, there's a lot of gaps opening. So some desperate defense. Now Byrne puts in the kick. And it comes with a boot. And it's almost going to work out brilliantly. And now it's picked off. Vincent Jatuka on the deck has managed to grab a penalty for diving on top of him as well, just to help them out. Because, yeah, I'll tell you what, they were in some serious trouble there. Yeah, I mean, that ball could have bounced anywhere. The bounce of the rugby ball, that weird oval-shaped ball. I mean, that little chip almost from 40 over the top of Vince Stuka, and then Doris just losing his footing and diving over the top there. So Sharks get themselves up towards just before the 10-meter line. Jatuka, good take from him. Pretty good running more as well. Looking a bit pale. That's rude. I'm looking pale. Go and drink. Looking a bit pale. How's this guy? Oh, that's a good take there. Because you used to like see me after like 5 beers, where my face basically goes the kit's the same red as the Lions kit. So apologies. Right, Duke McGrath all the way back here. High in the air, then Mars Porky underneath it. No, put a chamber, in fact, it was. Ball punts back to Pentapawai. He goes the way to upplay to Fassi. Fassi hit hard on the tackle by Harry Byrne. That was good take earlier by Lama. He hasn't had the best again. Well, a bit of all nothing, hasn't he? Right, people, yeah. So the vote that we're asking for is: can the Sharks make a comeback? I personally am pretty pessimistic about the idea. It's very skeptical about any sort of comeback possible here. A couple of Sharks medics on the park. They do have the scrum here. And, yeah, this is something they really need to grind out here. They've got to try and keep winning those scrum penalties, keep putting themselves in positions to score, and then they've got to go and score. Now, look at Carly started putting in that work there. But Garners goes down the short side. He's a bit isolated, but Jack Cohen eventually has to reel him in. Gets a couple of meters yard. Bit of a live wire scrum off, isn't he? The definition, I think, of a live wire scrum off. Right, Recheko Paditwe and Shea in at scrum half. And Carly Sardi, the fridge, has dropped it. If that, tell you what, that was a Brandy and Coke or a Big Mac, he wouldn't have dropped that. Now kicking behind is really, really good. Mars Portkita is going to knock that out as well. So if that eventually does go up, does that knock it out? Knock on the... Mars Portkita has really struggled. He really has struggled. He's not had a great game as Mars Portkita, unfortunately. He's been found wanting a little bit positionally. He's been really struggling under the high ball. He's been all right with ball in hand. He's quite a physical character. Can play in the centres. But not been great everywhere else. Da, 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 da. Right, so now it's a really good attacking opportunity here for Leinster. They've got a scrum inside, well inside the 22. They're probably about maybe 15 meters out, maybe even less, probably about 12 and a half, maybe 12.2 meters out. You have to get a ruler out. But put it this way, they're not far away is the crux of the matter here. Another reset here. So have a bit of chat between the two props here. And mainly it's between Carlos Sardi and Malcolm Milner. He's struggling a lot here. I'm trying to actually look at this here. Because that does not look like Ty Furlong. And that is because it's not. And that is not Malcolm Milner either. And that looks like two new props for Leinster. If I'm not mistaken. Is that Andrew Porter? It's definitely Ian Healy on the right-hand side. I'm trying to work out if Andrew Porter's come on. It used to be a lot easier when he was blonde. Big scrum. That's a jeepers me. Oxen Chair has absolutely hammered him there. There is Phil Milner. I'll tell you what, Kian Healy has just been introduced to Oxen Chair. And the ball's pulled up to the side. First backwards apparently, and then an off card, so it'll be a shark scrum for Oxen Chair. Goodness me, look at the power there. Kian Healy's up in the air there. I'm not sure how that's not a penalty. He's absolutely decimated that. Well, that's a bit ominous, isn't it? When you're a play to loose head and his first scrum, he gets decimated. I mean, you're tight head. Michael Milner's still on, and he's not having a great time with Carlos Sardi either. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Andrew Porter on pretty soon. If nothing else, he's in the form of his life at the moment as Andrew Porter. Right, now there's a break and play. You've got a man down. I really want more beer. It's a bit sad, isn't it? Only one beer. The last beer for the last dance. There's Johnny Sexton watching on. Interesting to see where he is in his recovery and what he's been up to. Right, Javon, let's get a scrum going here, people. Penalty. Oxen Chair wanted to have a word with Ian Healy, and then the double blow came, and he very quickly went, "No, I'm not doing anything. It's not me. I'm just here. I'm here. I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying hi. Like I'm just." I'll tell you what. I think Andrew Porter's gonna have to come on yet, but I don't know how much that's gonna help, given the fact that Kian Healy's just been decimated by Oxen Chair twice. And then took him, I'll tell you what, his scrummage's come a long way. So at this stage, I reckon the message will be to Oxen Chairs to keep hammering Kian Healy. Yeah, and Carly Sardi is just folding Michael Milner like a deck chair. Right, Cobbler. Now Fenn to go into Grant Williams. To Buddha Chamberlain. That's a dreadful pass. Mapimpi having to clean up. That's not good. That's not good at all. Big counter rack coming as well. Ball is eventually going to be secured. Grant Williams had to come all the way back here. Sigmund's a Noche. Spins away from one. Good carry from him. He's actually looked quite bright today, to be fair to him. He's looked very bright the last few months. Actually very upset when I saw him re-sign a contract with the Sharks. Because when he was busy being benched by Pesci Boutelesi, I was just sitting there going, I come for the lines. Come on. I'm not sure he would start in front of Banker Horn. He is the GOAT. But, that's a good tackle on Dave Carney, who was threatening to make a bit of a break there. Oh, my goodness. There are so many blue shirts here. Big tackle from Bongi Manambi. So many blue shirts. Jack Conan goes himself. Tackle by Ben Tapawai. Now Caelan Doris. Oxen Chair makes the tackle. McGrath to Byrne. Byrne, that's a great take from Engatai because it was a dreadful pass right at his feet. Oh dear. Jack Cohen, this is the 2-1. And that is far too easy. Max Deegan goes over. Try number 4. It would be the bonus point if this was a non-playoff rugby. But that could be game, set, and match. Leinster go over. The Sharks already looking pretty battered, pretty dead on their feet. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Well, we can end the poll there. 91 people said that there was no chance of a Sharks comeback, and I think they're probably going to be right, to be fair. It was always going to need a big effort. I'd like to see more from them, to be honest, so far. Look, it's not too late. I don't want to write them off at 50 minutes, but it's a long way back from here. A very long way back from here. The Leinster Lions having a good time. Second best line mascot in the competition. After, I think it's Simba is the name of the Lions lion. Pretty sure it's Simba. It's not. Was it Mufasa? I think it actually could be Mufasa. Lions rugby mascot. I got to tell you the right things. I'm pretty sure it's Mufasa. Yeah, it is Mufasa. Another good kick from Harry Bird. He's 4 from 4, by the way. He's just comfortably going about his business very well. I mean, it must be nice. You've literally... can we just talk about the fact that Leinster have got Johnny Sexton, who's the best Irish fly half of all time. Their second choice is 28-year-old Hotspur, who for me is playing pretty good rugby at the moment and could very ably for me be the Ireland number 1 if Sexton's not fit for the World Cup. He's also scored almost 1,000 points for Leinster. You've then got Harry Bird, his brother, who's 24 years old. Very, very nice fly half. Nothing wrong with him. Pretty solid. And you then got Sam Prendergast just coming through and is being dubbed the next Sexton. I mean, how's that for fly half dead? This is nonsense. Anyway, Cornell is busy trying to get over the advantage line. Credit to him. But I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, those 4 fly halves are mental. Anyway, Lukanya has been caught in the ball here. Sharks just no match. Oxen, just do something. Oh, no, he's giving straight to corner. I did say do something. I didn't mean do something like that. But Pippi's going to track back here. Kieran Frawley is after him. Plus going to win the race. But, yeah, Oxen share. That kind of sums it up, doesn't it? And it's a pity because he's actually been playing pretty well. He's one of the few players who's kind of stepped up and tried this evening. But he's just thrown the laziest of passes straight into Kieran Frawley's hands. Oh, dear. This is now looking a bit like a preseason game. Right, and Leinster back with possession outside the 22. Kieran Frawley. Keenan. Ngatai. Oh, dear. He's around Mons Portkey too. He makes a good, valiant diving tackle. It's a good cover tackle. It's the second time he's had to do that. What are the comments saying, people? What are the comments saying as the Shark kind of sort of limply move on? Kuma's saying, I wonder if the players in the SATs realize it's a World Cup year. Playing in these losing teams, they're not doing their chance to make the World Cup no good. Trying to think how we did back in 2019. Let's go 2019 Super Rugby, shall we? How did we do? Is there actually much? I mean, that's an interesting concept. Is there something in that 2019 Super Rugby season? Top point scores 100 Potter. That also obviously boded well. The Bulls came 5th. The Cross came 6th. The Lions came 9th. Stormers came 10th. That was in the table, and then that was the year that Jaguars played so well. Anyway, sorry, the Sharks are back and running outside the 22. Good carry from Sigmund Noche at the penalty ball side. And then in the playoffs, what happened, yeah, people? We saw the Bulls lose to the Hurricanes in the quarterfinals. the Sharks were hammered by the Brumbies in the quarterfinals as well. I don't think there's much in it, to be honest. We didn't play particularly well in 2019. We won a World Cup. The nice thing is, for example, I would say, to be fair, a lot of our Springbok players are playing pretty well. Very few, I think, current Springboks. So I'm sitting there going, "Ooh, that his form's looking a little bit sketchy." Yeah, Andrew Porter's getting ready. Justin saying, "At least we have the Stormers to count on." Yeah, fair enough. You can never count on the Sharks to do Stormers a favor. Well, I mean, come on, mate. You know, just shame. It's not like you guys beat Leinster either. Could say Sharks, Bulls, and Lions, big disappointment. Mostly Sharks, all the money spent on big names. Yeah, look, don't include us on. Oh, Caleb Doyle straight through the middle. This is no. Up in the Fatty once again. Oh no, he's still going. Caleb Doyle. He stumbled on. He's actually tripped on him more than anything else. McGrath goes to Bird. Bird fires it out to Scott, to Max Deegan. Max Deegan's going to be bundled by Bongi and Manambi. I tell you what, when you see Caleb Doyle taking a line and the only person ahead is Apple Fassi, you start to panic a little bit, don't you? Steven says, the fourth most popular sport in Ireland after soccer, Gaelic football, and hurling. Steve does a good hurl. That's a bit hectic. I think I'll be wild at hurling, to be fair. I reckon get me over there and give me on a high performance contract. I reckon I can become a professional hurler. Oh dear, Oxen Chair, that's not a great attempt to tackle. Bongi Manami doing the business. Yeah, I don't think you can be putting the Lions into the same bracket as Bulls and Sharks. Like, come on, like, not with the resources, or the lack thereof we've had. There it is, the Rohan answer from Rensburg. Sharks call for aid, and Rohan will answer. And how about he comes to the Lions? Leave your shitty Durban house, which I'm sure is probably very nice. What do you mean there's no professional hurlers? So how am I supposed to get paid? So I can't come on a high performance contract. I have to go do it for fun. Who hurls for fun? It's a decent clearance, by the way. Sorry, getting a little bit distracted here. I'm getting my education on hurling. Or maybe we should professionalize it, like the rugby became professional eventually. Let me know when you guys do professionalize it, and I'm in for it. Also, like, what are the rules? Can I just, like, smack someone with my, I don't even know what they call it, like, my stick? Can I just start, like, hitting people? Like, what's the chatcha? I've only watched a little bit of hurling, and it's, like, the most mental. Like, those Irish sports, there's just nothing, there's no offense, but there's no logic to it. By the way, that's another substitution here, and Peter Boutelet has come on for, I think he was a notcher, which is interesting. You watch, like, Gaelic football, people are just bouncing balls, kicking balls. It's just chaos out there. Speaking of chaos, the Sharks are just depleted. Buda Chainland's going off. So Novalda Players is going to have to play 23 minutes at fly half. Chance played 2 URC games. Got a decent mo, though. Fair enough on you, mate. Nice little slick haircut as well. You do it for your love of county and village. Not bad at that. How about my village pays me to come hurl? Like, do you guys have any rich villagers that are interested in a CVP hurler? Anyway, Leinster are just outside of 22, by the way. We do get back to the rugby. That's a pretty loose pass coming in. That was Burn on the park. Looks like it. It looked like look, smuggled on the ground there. Good work there. It's been burgled. Ball at the top. James Fenton and Navaldo Fleurs to the Kanya. I'm on the angle. The Kanya. I'm looking for support. Brought down just past the 22. They're still way back in their own half here, Sharks. And now Navaldo Fleurs hammers it down the park. Hugo Keenan. Yeah, it looks like it is Ross Berger, how tall he is. He's like 1.9, like my height. As tall fly halves, And Andrew Porter's also on the field as well. It is a penalty, a knock on here from Leinster. It'll be a sharp scrum. Rowan Jansen and Rensburg clapping hard, trying to gear the guys up. Fortunately, you guys do trail about 23 points, which is fewer minutes than you've got on the clock. Right, let's see. So in terms of substitutions, I can try and catch up on you. Kian Healy, Andrew Porter are both on. Jack Cronin's on. Ross Burns on. I think Liam Turner's on. That looks like John McKee coming on. Yeah, so Dan Sheehan's off. I mean, at the end of the day, the job's done. I'm going to get another beer. Again, I don't actually know how old this beer is. This could... Oh, no, shit. This is actually opened and it's gone off. No, that's not going to go well. No. We will not be drinking that. That is the one that leaked in the fridge about 4 months ago. It might be a bit flat. That means I'm out of beer. Tough times, boys. Tough times are lasting. And my brandy is all the way in the house. Somebody want to Uber Eats me some beer? Anybody? Anybody out there? Buddha Chamberlain on the bench there. Cameron Wright there. Sequels Noche. Ben Tapawai. It's pretty big players that they've brought off here. I think Inchtuko Mtunu will be coming on soon as well as Bongles coming off. Oh, nice. So I'm just talking about the fact that my beer's run out and he's just talking about sinking brandies. Send one here. Like, send some brandy this way. Like, Uber Eats still deliver alcohol. Well, I mean, I think they do, you know. Should we check? Should we do a young recon here? Sorry, we're having a scrum here. I like how we've just left the game completely. That's a huge scrum from Leinster, by the way. It is a penalty for Sharks, and I think it's for walking around. But that was pretty large. Let's see what if we were to try and order beer. Could we? Could we order beer? This is the question. Right, so Sharks penalty and Faison Barter has come onto the park. Interesting to see him. He hasn't played very much. Right, let's see if we can still order booze at this time of night. Just for... You can, you know. It's incredibly expensive, but you can. There's like 4 different places that are still up. I mean, a 6-pack of $120, guys. I mean, we're in trouble if that's... But, yeah, there's 4 different places which can deliver me booze right now. 600 rand for a bottle of Jaeger. Goodness me. Scrap that idea, lads. We're going sober. Right. Grant Williams with the box kick. Marcus Norman Pimples is chasing hard. And it's been spilled. Surely forward. It has been spilled forward. No, forward. Referee. What? Yeah, I was about to say. He's still playing. So yeah, we have discovered that Uber Eats does still deliver beer at this time of night, and apparently incredibly expensive Jaeger. Reynolds saying Vincent hasn't quite been as good as he's moved to the Lions. Yeah, 100% he's come back. Vintook, the best beer. Yeah, I don't see any places delivering Vintook, and if they did, I'd hate to know how expensive it is. You got Blue Bottles Riverside. That's interesting that they're open this time. To be fair, Grahamstown Bottle Store used to close at 9 p.m. on a Saturday evening. Do they have Vintook? Oh, you can get a case. Case of Castles for 335 rand. Case of Lions for $380. That's not bad, you know. That's not bad. Not that I have that kind of money. They do have Vintook. It's $125 for a 6-pack. There's a penalty and we're waiting, by the way. So full disclosure, I'm not missing out on rugby, but we're doing market research here on booze. The cheapest 6-pack to order is a Castle 6-pack. Best values in Lion Lager, because those are man cans. Those are 500s. Vintook Draft, $144. Vintook Lager, $125. There's James Lowe. I don't like James Lowe after he slandered the Springboks unnecessarily. Does that put me into like alcoholic tendencies to be sitting at Hotspur? It's only 7:30, though, to be fair, to go get drinks. Reason needs to send me some brandies. Right. We finally have resume action here. It is a scrum. A shark scrum as well. We're going to say 140 fans cheap. Yeah, 100%. I grant that, but We're poor out here, dude. We're poor out here. It's tough. Bessie Lazy, that's a big carry out the back. Running over Ross Byrne. Grant Williams to Vincent Tuka, who slipped, and they've done pretty well. No, they're still playing that ball. Grant Williams going to corner roll. I've actually been quite impressed with the youngster. Shame. I mean, talk about throwing in the deep end. Now, on Tuka, that's facing Barta, I think. No, it isn't Tuka Nkunu, who I had to sit next to in that Springbok launch bed last year. Oak didn't say a word to me. Like a single word. I was like, how's it? Morning. And that was it. That was it. And then I thought that, you know, we're at a fancy thing. Happily Fassie's now knocked that on. Here I am thinking that we're at a fancy event. Official photographers are going to get a cool photo out of it. One photo. And, yeah, my eyes are closed. I mean, really? Where's say, thought this was a rugby channel, didn't know we were talking doors. Well, you know, I mean, I feel like it kind of lends itself to each other, doesn't it? I mean, what is rugby without a few drinks? It's like an Alcoholics Anonymous on here. You know, create a little profile, come here and chat. It kind of shows you, it tells you, to be fair, it tells you a lot more about the rugby we're watching than anything else. It's not particularly exciting if we're going to be brutally honest. Right, I'm going to resume with another scrum here. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and cats and boots and oh, it's 18 minutes left, by the way. It's not a very long half, was it just me? It's too early as well. If it wasn't such a good citizen, I'd always be thinking about a post-game draw later, but I'm not, because I don't drink and I don't go out. I'm a very good person like that. You know, I'm a responsible person. Got a clear match in the morning. Which actually might be on Super Sports Tools. If it is, I might swing you guys a link. You guys can watch me Wiki tomorrow. It's going to go so badly. Reset scrum here. Taking a while to get going. Go away. Come on, big scrum here, lads. Big scrum here, lads. Let's get something exciting going. Big scrum has popped up here. Leinster have got to go forward, and Leinster have gotten the penalty. Andrew Porter making a big difference, and Intukum is not quite the scrummager that Oxenchair is. Oxenchair is just so, I mean, without being a dick, he's so short that he just gets in such a good, powerful position and just hammers people from up underneath. Just get underneath them and just bang! Intukum, a much taller prop. He's an absolute unit, though. Now, the front row has popped up, and then a lot of pressure being exerted on Intunu. Oh, it's a good line out there. Pittsburgh Lazy coming away with it. So it's a good steal from the Sharks. Still going Pittsburgh Lazy. And another penalty to Leinster. I'm busy trying to put a poll up in another stream going Glasgow Leinster, Glasgow Warriors, and Munster. Asking you guys who's going to win that game. That's in the next stream, by the way. Yeah, I think Fussy is quite far from a stream call up, to be honest. I personally think that in terms of fullbacks that are ahead of him right now, I think Kurt Lawrence has the fullback options ahead of him right now. I think that Kieran Horn could be ahead of him as an option right now. I think he's pretty far away from a cool work. He just can't tackle at the moment. So Leinster now into the 22. They go up, they go down. McGrath, Byrne. Harry's still on, by the way. Harry's an inside centre. The Burns playing together. That's a great K from him. Why not? That's a poor ball to Crawley, but Jack Conan's getting things back on track. Andrew Porter stepping away from one, going in. I'll tell you what, I mean, I reckon Andrew Porter's just going to be... There's not much left to him to tattoo, is there? Another day he lifted his shirt. He's got all the tattoos over here. I think we should add a couple of ones to it. Maybe we could get a Forever Sports tattoo on him. Still going as Max Deegan now. To Jason Jenkins. At least you were South African playing next week in Leinster. Oh, yeah, we go. Harry Byrne. I tell you what, Harry Byrne with ball in hand has suddenly become a whole different player. Ross Byrne, baller at the top here. Lost to do. Liam Turner, Fussy misses another tackle. He's going to be carried over the line here. He's not going to get grounding, so it will be held up. I actually going to go look at Aspelated Fussy's stats. Man, just not tackling at the moment. He's just decided it's optional. I don't know if he's made a tackle, to be fair. Happy Bruce saying, while Leicester scrum dominance, if this continues, we can safely say Sharks have been beaten in almost every aspect of the game. Heartbreaking considering the talent in the team. Yeah, look at the squad. Yes, the team today was always going to struggle, I think. Up in fast, let's see, shall we? He's had a 40% tackle success rate. He's made 2 and missed 3. It's not great, is it? Jack Conan hit hard the tackle. I can't even sorry. It's it down, boy. Now, Ross Byrne, once again to his brother, sees a bit of nepotism going around here. The ball's come loose, though. And Portkita has hammered it, but it's gone to touch. The good news, however, I suppose, is the Sharks players at the moment, for example, Bongi, Manambi, Oxen, Ched, they've all come through without injuries. That's a nice positive. Etzebeth and Sia Khaleesi are currently recovering from injuries. Etzebeth should be alright. Khaleesi apparently could make it. I don't want to get my hopes up, but could make it. For the World Cup. Couple of changes there. Oh my goodness. I mean, imagine you're 28 points to 5 up and you say, you make some changes. Who should you bring on? I reckon we bring on Joe McCarthy and maybe we just throw in Jamison Gibson Park, just see how he goes as well. Just for fun. Meanwhile, Lavaskakni, Jean Dre's come in. We actually interviewed him. Very nice guy. Very quiet, very unassuming. Got a new contract this week. So he'll be part of Track with Life. Oh, that's another big scrum. That's another big scrum. It has been used, though, by Jack Conan, and so they escape from seeing another penalty here, do the Sharks. But Tutuka missed. That's a brilliant turnover from Tutuka, then they've knocked it backwards, apparently. Grant Williams back to Navaldo Fleers. And he hammers it down the middle of the park. Good, pretty big kick from him. They can't have to do a lot of retreating there. And that's not found touch. The Fleers underneath, and again, what can he conjure up? Come on, do something cool. Do something cool. He carries that. That's not a bad carry, to be fair. Ball available for Grant Williams. Took him a while to get back there. Goes to Fez Mbata. Decides to become the battering ram. Fez Mbata. Get it? No, fair enough. Fleurs goes for the boot. That's very, very far. That's not going to be contestable. Should just be marked. It is marked. Pretty poor kick from Fleurs in the end. They've taken it quickly, though, and they're going to have to go all the way back because it's a penalty for offside. Just as well, because that could have been try time. That's a high tackle, I think. Yeah, Andrew Porter with a high tackle. You wouldn't have guessed it. Wow. Not Uber Eats now giving me a notification saying Saturday and day drinking. Happy Saturday. The day is young and so are you. So order a drink and grab your crew. I mean, if Uber Eats are telling me to do it, who am I to say anything different? Right, on the 22 now, the Sharks. Can they get a consolation try and make this look a little bit more respectable than it is? Because at the moment, a 23-point loss in the quarterfinals. Pretty poor, isn't it? Pretty poor. I love it. The day is young. Some interns getting fired. Sending out that push notification at 7:30 at night saying your day is young. Get your drink and grab your crew. Right, on the 22. Fez and Barter, ball in hand. They go to Jean-Blaise Labuschagne. And James Venter breaks, and he goes to Rowan Janssen van Rensburg. Into the 22. Pick up and go from Mars Portkita. Player on the call. Sukan Tunu making a few meters as well. A couple of good carries here. Carlusari now going himself as well. James Fencer making a meter or two, aided by Jean Labuschagne. Now Vincent Tuka. Pick up and go now from Tuka Tunu. Fez and Barter. Good continuity here. Oh, half a gap for Grant Williams. And he got the offload away. And Rowan Janssen van Rensburg goes over Grant Williams. A bit of the moment of magic. And look what it means to the Lone Sharks fan. He's having it. He's celebrating it. The second try of the match for the Sharks. It's another Grant Williams moment of magic. Just dummy, sees a half gap. It closes, but he gets his arms through the tackle. Rowan Janssen van Rensburg runs a really good support line. He goes over. And far too late for anything resembling a comeback, but maybe just try and sneak another try and make things look a little bit closer. Right, Navaldo Fleurs with his first kick of the match. Pretty straightforward. Should have no issues with this, and doesn't. Straight down the middle. 28 points to 12. Well, another converted points. We'll try to put them at 19. As I said, just try and make things look a little bit more respectable, isn't it? Oh dear. Oh dear. There could be some foul play here from Corne Roll, who I've sung his praises tonight on debut. The youngsters played really well, I thought, but they now want to say they want to check the actions of wide 4. Yeah, 6, I think, James Painter. I did wonder about that clean out. Looked like he kind of dropped the shoulder a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't look good, does he? He's led with his elbow. He's made contact with Andrew Porter's head. I think James Painter could be finishing the rest of the game off the field. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. The try's been chalked off. That's interesting because the conversion's already been taken. Well, that's just dumb, isn't it, from James Fenter? You scored a try and it's going to be chalked off. He's going to receive at least the yellow card. Yep, yellow card for him. No try for Rowan Janssen van Rensburg. I'll be boxing it. If I was Rowan, I'd be going into those change rooms just boxing him. Like, excuse me. Bah! Sit here and stuff up my bloody stats. Right, no try there. 28 points to 5. Never mind. Last 8 minutes and they'll be down to 14 men once again. I suppose that kind of sums up the day for Sharks, doesn't it? They've just been absolutely not at the races. Not at the races. Right, Gibson Park all the way back to Ross Burney, hammers it down the middle of the field. Mapimpi's back there. Go on a run, Mapimpi. Do something cool. Really fussy. There's a bit of a slip and he powers through the middle of a half gap. Basically brought down. Cameron Wright into the park as well. Janssen van Rensburg stepping inside. No, we're not currently claiming James Fenter. We're only claiming when he does cool stuff. Fasti with a bit of a dummy, getting away from one. Now Livaldo Fleurs goes to the boot. Hotspur returns the favour. Back to Lacagna. Right, what can Lacagna conjure up? Pretty good tackle on him, to be fair. Up to the 10-metre line. Corner roll. Another strong carry from him. I'll tell you what, I've been impressive. I've been impressed by him. Cameron Wright, Lacagna, very quiet. It's a good take from Ryan Janssen behind him, but holds on to it well. Oh, yeah, turnover ball there. Oh, good hands. Oh, chipping behind. Jamison Gibson Park has just got Vincent Tuka there. He's not going to get there. Jamison Gibson Park goes over. We'll ignore the fact he's got more hair on his face than on his head, but Jamison Gibson Park will go over for Leinster try number 5. This is now getting a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, it's far too easy. Good hands, good turnover. Just put him to the boot there, and there's nobody back. Vincent Tuka's desperately trying to get back, but Jamison Gibson Park is always going to be too fast, unfortunately. Such a cool player, Jamison Gibson Park. I really enjoy watching him play his rugby. I think that the Lions should sign him for shits and giggles. To be fair, Schalk's probably about the only position we don't need players. But hey, who am I to deny the fans for what they want? The conversion coming there from Hotspur. Caden Doris getting the man of the match. Probably quite fair, to be fair. Right, so we missed the restart there, and Leinster have returned. That's a great kick. That's a great clearance from the restart. They found touch inside Sharks territory, just pinned them all the way back, killed all the momentum possible. Pimpy, long ball out towards Akanya. A bit of an overlap. They want to use it. Goes to the upper Fassi. Fassi goes to the boot. Grant Williams, who's chipped to the wing, by the way. Still on the park. Right, Fleurs, what can he conjure up? Goes to Apple Fassi. See also a half gap. He's wanted to run today as Fassi, but his defense has been pretty torrid. The inside ball there from Vincent Tuka to Carlos side of the ex-Lions lads. Linking out Cameron Wright. Pessi Boutelesi to Ryan Janssen van Rensburg. Ryan Janssen van Rensburg shifts on to the inside. Cameron Wright going to Fleurs. Comes back on the inside. Just look directionless, haven't they? And you're looking at this attack now. We've started carry from Stuka. Gets the offload away to Pepsi Boutelesi, but they're just looking like they're going through the motions. Oh, that's a good offload. Oh, here we go. In the Tukum in the gap. He steps around Hugo Keenan. Yeah, look at the pace from him. The Pimpy to Grant Williams. Grant Williams sniping around, trying to find a bit of a half gap. Cameron Wright going back to him. Tunu getting through 2. Fleurs now popping up to the Kanya. Wasn't the best offload from him. I mean, really. Balls available. Labaskakni. Oh, can the Sharks get a consolation try? Pepsi Boutelesi to Fleurs. Long ball out. That's a good pass to Ryan Janssen van Rensburg, who's through. Out to Grant Williams can't hang on. Can't hang on. It would have been a try. Would have been try time. Well, that was the last chance, wasn't it? The last dance, the last chance. Well, it would have been pretty impressive if Grant Williams ended the match with 2 tries and a try assist. I mean, a losing effort. Those are not bad stats, are they? So as we enter the last minute, it's the scrum. Yeah, all that Leinster really needs to do is get the scrum in, get it out, get the ball out. In fact, the referee could just blow the whistle now. To be honest, we don't need to draw it out yet. There's no need. There's no need. Unless Leinster want to get one last try. Do they have it in them? Do they have it in them? They're pretty deep inside their own half. Oh, this is a dreadful camera angle. The cameraman's also decided he's gone on walkabout. And you find touch in the last 15 seconds. People, thank you very much for another fun watch along. It's been a great day of rugby coverage. We'll be back. We'll be doing a live tracker for the next game. So you guys can monitor all the action there. And then we'll be back next weekend. URC semi-finals. Will the Stormers be booking their place in another final? Probably going over to Dublin unless Leinster do lose next weekend. If the Stormers win next weekend and Leinster lose, however, they will have a home final. Once again, another home final. So pretty big weekend for the Stormers. The Sharks are going to crash out. The Bulls are going to go out. And we'll wait and see whether Munster or Glasgow Warriors will be taking on Leinster as Maxwell and Pimpy is trying to find a consolation try here for the Sharks. It's very unlikely to happen. But you can't blame anybody for trying, can you? Tell you what, it's been a nice camera for Ryan Aston Ransby, nothing else. I think if they can get him fired next season with the Kanyam next to him, I think that'll go a long way towards rebuilding this team. Obviously, going to get a nice pack in front of them, though. Chip and chase from Fleurs. And penalty. Grant Williams taken out. No, my watch telling me to get moving. Don't tell me to get moving. Don't tell me to live my life. Do what I want. Alright, players will look to find touch here. It'll probably be like Sarge Lobby just like kicked it dead or something. Johnny Levis-Gackney, that's a good take from him. Sharks trying to find a last-minute try. Hopefully they'll sign stronger players for Khaleesi and Edsmith. Well, Edsmith's not going anywhere. There it is. They finally trip it over. Yeah, Edsmith's not going. It's just Khaleesi. I'm not sure they will replace him. They've got quite a few flanks in the roster for the Sharks. Right, final score is that Leinster have hammered them. 35 points, 2-5. It's not gone particularly well for the Sharks, unfortunately. They've gone over, they've been hammered, and they'll return. 2 sides crashing out of the URC for the South African teams. We always knew one of them was going to have to go out. We dared to dream about a Sharks upset. It was never going to happen, unfortunately, with the way Leinster are playing. And they've definitely got the job done there. People, thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you guys all very soon. We'll be back live on Monday. We will be choosing our locks for our World Cup squad. Wednesday, we'll be choosing our flankers as well. So that should be pretty fun. Please do come and check us out there. Please do smash like on the video, subscribe as well on the way out. We are trying to get to 24,700 subscribers. If 12 of you guys could subscribe on the way out, we would get there. And I will see you guys all next time.